Eagles. Eagles.
And welcome in, everybody, to a Monday morning edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, John McMullen. J-Mac, fresh off the NFL draft, my friend. It feels good to be live here on a Monday morning after a great weekend of work by you. How you doing on this Monday morning?
Still recovering there. Yeah, another one, man. These things, day 3 was exhausting this year. I don't know what it was. Maybe I'm just getting too old, but Howie, I think we all came in with the thought of, they only had 3 picks and maybe it wouldn't be that bad. And all of a sudden, Howie's trading down to get Bernard, which I'm disgusted in myself that I didn't figure that out, by the way. Because I said it at the time when it came out. I said, of course, the Eagles are going to draft this kid. And I totally forgot about it. And sure enough, they did it. And that'll be a fun story, at least. Obviously, long time developmental prospect. So don't get too hyped up, but you're talking years. So, but obviously, tremendous athlete.
Yeah, no doubt. He was a crazy good name. John, what'd you think of the overall draft, man? We will get into, obviously, all of it. We'll talk a little bit about the undrafted free agents as well today. We'll talk to Jeff Kerr. But, all in all, it's all wrapped up now, John. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The Eagles added a boatload of new players, 8 of them in the draft, 1 of them in Jonathan Grenard. And then, obviously, I think it was 8 also undrafted free agents as well. So 17 players in over the last couple of days or last few days there, Johnny Mac. What's kind of your overall synopsis, as we said here on a Monday morning?
Well, I think my overall sort of framing of the draft, number 1 is that Grenard's the most important part, but on the field. Number 2, I think after all the talk and all the debate, and we have to do it every day, how he just stood true to his board, wasn't thinking about scheme. Just took who we thought the best players were, and now it's the coaching staff's job to try to utilize them as best possible. So there's a lot of talk about it. I think it's best identified by the offensive line. We asked them the question, and we said Stoutland, wide zone. You got Sean Mannion, new run game coordinator. More athleticism. He takes, 2 monsters, Markel Bell and even day 3, Micah Morris, who's just a big, powerful guy. Tight end, we talked a lot about, you got to get a George Kittle, a Tucker Kraft. Well, I did. And they go get Eli Stowers, who's, a glorified flex receiver. And quarterback, are they going to get the day 3? Garrett Nussmeier was there. Obviously, a lot of concerns about his injuries, his spinal cord issue. But, even a Luke Altmaier, everybody, the point guard type of quarterback for the new offense. And they go get, Taysom Hill, basically. Led the left-handed Taysom Hill with Cole Payton. So, to me, it struck out. It really stood out that he just drafted guys at the moment that he thought were the best players available. And you're probably not going to go wrong if you do that. Although you might in this draft, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, that's another conversation. Draft overall wasn't all that strong, John. So maybe that's the right method here for the Philadelphia Eagles to do. And I do agree with you. I think they did do that. John, what pick sticks out to you as maybe like a surprise or a concern or maybe even a positive, whatever one? Which one sticks out one way or another to you of the 8 draft picks?
Well, and mainly because of need, to be honest, but it's very late pick, and that's Cole Wisniewski, 7th round, one of the 3 7th-round picks, just because there's opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, Mekhi Lemon is going to get on the field in theory if A.J. Brown. Although, for all the people that are still holding out hope, if they don't trade A.J. Brown, he's not getting on the field much at all. So be careful what you wish for. But obviously, he'll be a major part of the offense. Stowers, yeah, I don't think he's going to play that much. I think you're going to have, barring injury, I think he's going to be the third tight end. I think it would shape up as Goddard, obviously, and then Johnny Munt, because he does have the ability to set the edge, and they can do some things in the running game.
No
And
way.
then
You think Johnny Munt will be tight end too, just because of the blocking ability?
because of the blocking ability.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. It just feels it's hard for me right now to envision that the second round tight end is on the bench behind Johnny Munt. That's all.
Well, they're role players. He's playing a role. Then
Right.
Then Eli Sowers is the starter when Dallas Goedert leaves, and hopefully in that time frame that he improves the blocking, can at least hold up, or who knows? Maybe they see him and make him receiver full time. There's other teams that have thought that.
Yeah, I wonder if the wide receiver 3 comes off the field a little bit more for him, if they feel like, you know what I mean? If they do
potentially to get him in and pat. What I'm trying to say is they do need that skill set to run what they want to run.
Right.
They need somebody to set the edge. So Johnny Munt, they didn't get anybody better, so he's got to be a part of it. And Markel Bell obviously is long term. He's not going to play this year, so he's going to redshirt. But I think that's a lot easier for people to take because he's the 68th pick and not a first round pick. So I think that actually works in the Eagles' favor. And then you talk about day 3, other than Cole Wisniewski, who has an opportunity. And by the way, all I'm saying is he has an opportunity if he turns into the next Reed Blankenship. And what that means is going to training camp, going really rookie camp at the end of this week, and hitting the ground running and showing, look, this guy's better than everybody thought, and there's an opportunity there. Cole Payton, developmental player. Micah Morris, developmental player. Uar Bernard, the ultimate developmental player. When you see what happened with Jonathan Grenard coming in, the Keyshawn James newbie is probably not even going to make the football team. So
he was their final pick, right, at 252.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's going to be very difficult for him to even be on the 53. Probably tops out at the practice squad if nobody claims him. But as I was saying before the air with you, I saw Lance Zierlein from NFL.com, their draft guy, that he was talking to one team, and I never pinned this down. I talked to a bunch of different guys. They had 34 players graded as first and second round picks in this draft. 34 players. There's 64 first and second round picks.
Right. So half of them were reaches.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, there's third rounders that develop fourth, but it was a weak draft and a lot of that has to do with NIL and underclassmen. Very few underclassmen declare anymore. We'll see if that shakes out at the college level. That's the big problem, because those guys who would be third, fourth round picks, they're going back to college because they can make more money in college, and they get another year to get on film and maybe up their draft status and maybe become first or second round picks. The best example of that would be Akeem Mesidor, who went back to Miami, would have been probably a third, fourth round, went back to Miami, ultimately becomes a first round pick. So he got money at Miami, and now he's getting a first round pick salary. So it makes a lot of sense for those college guys. So the college game is becoming a big issue with the changes there for the NFL.
John, going to be interesting to see how it all shapes up after the NFL draft. Overall, I thought it was a great weekend. I do want to thank all of the great people of JAKIB Nation for tuning in all weekend long. We had phenomenal numbers, obviously tremendous reporting and analysis from John McMullen here on the channel. So I thought it was a really strong weekend across the board, and I just wanted to thank everybody for that. Johnny Mac, we will run through the picks right now, and we will do it quick. We won't do a full breakdown of each pick, but I just want to kind of say a pick, and I want you to give me what you think their impact might be here on the Philadelphia Eagles in year one. I think obviously not many of them will have major impact in year one, but I do think some of them will. John, starting with Mekhi Lemon. I know we talked about him on Friday's show. He was the first-round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. They traded up to go and get him, wide receiver at a USC. How do you see his role shaping up in year one for this Birds team, Johnny Mac?
Well, the presumption is A.J. Brown is gone, and as long as that holds true, and we all think it will hold true, then he's going to play a significant part on this offense as the 2 or the 3. He'll battle with Dontavian Wicks for that role. He can play inside. That's what he specialized in at USC, but that doesn't mean he can't play outside. The Eagles think he can. So to me, it's pretty clear. Devontae's number 1. Then you have a 2-3 mix between Dontavian Wicks and Mekhi Lemon. Your hope is the first-round pick ultimately emerges and plays more. In other words, you're talking about the guy who's playing in 12 personnel when you have 2 tight ends on the field. So what are the 2 receivers on the field? Early in the season, it might be Smith and Wicks. You would hope later in the season it becomes Smith and Lemon. But either way, he's going to have a big impact because the Eagles are still going to be in an 11 personnel centric team with 3 receivers on the field more often than not. So he's the one guy who should have a major role right off the bat.
I agree. John, you think he'll do kick returns as well? He was a returner in college to some extent. You think he'll take up that here?
No,
right. Too high profile of a player.
Yeah. I mean, that's been the Eagles' history. Now they'll do high leverage situations.
Yeah, I remember like Devontae would do them every once in a while. Yeah.
So if it's, a tight game and there's a chance to return a punt because they're backed up and they need a play, maybe in a high leverage situation, I'm sure he'll take reps. I'm sure he'll, try to stay sharp in that instance. And numbers plays a part in it. Obviously, if Britton Covey's here, he's going to be the punt returner. Kick returner, the Eagles have used sort of a different style with the new kickoff rules. Want maybe the running backs. Hopefully, Tank Bigsby can learn it a little bit better. Little bit different style. It's basically, Michael Clay has called it like an inside zone running play. So that's why they prefer running backs there. But Will Shipley would probably default to still being the main kick returner unless Tank can figure out how to control the kickoffs.
Yeah, we'll see about that. All right, Johnny Mac, round 2, pick 54 was Eli Stowers. For our Birds 365 listeners, you guys might remember I liked Eli Stowers early in the process, but me and John both kind of didn't think it would happen because of his skill set, as Johnny Mac said, kind of a glorified flex receiver. So we'll see what his impact is. Johnny Mac, what'd you make of Eli Stowers and how you think he fits on this team and potential impact for him in year one here?
Yeah, I mean, well, this is the pick where I started to think about, all right, well, Howie's not drafting guys for this particular offensive scheme, which I thought, there was a possibility of, and there was a lot of debate about. And he just stayed true to his board. So, and that's probably the right way to go about it, because as we talk about, need is the worst talent evaluator in sports. And, we've seen the upheaval at the coordinator position. I mean, you might have a different coordinator a year down the road on both sides of the football. So what are you necessarily just drafting for not only Sean Mannion, but Vic Fangio? So I agree with the sentiments of just drafting the best player available. And this might really shine in 2027. When Dallas Goedert is long. I hesitate to say he'll be gone because we've been saying that for 2 years, but when he is gone,
eventually it's got to end, right?
Yeah. This might turn out to be a really good pick. And in the meantime, he's going to be in an NFL complex. He's going to be in an NFL weight room. He can add weight. The one thing people say about Eli Stowers as a blocker is that he's willing, and that's half the battle. Now he's got to get bigger. He's got to get stronger. And that's part of, this is his career now. He doesn't have to wear. Vanderbilt's a very good school. For those who don't know,
Yeah.
they actually care about their academics. So you got to go to school there. And now it's his full-time job, and you don't have to worry about all the ancillary stuff. So, hopefully he can improve that part of his game and keep the dynamic nature of his receiving. But I mean, this guy was a quarterback, 2-3 years ago at New Mexico State. So very short time at tight end, very high upside as a receiver, unbelievable athlete. And hey, if Dallas misses a few games, that's been his history. He'll get opportunities, but
Yeah,
I
right.
don't think you're going to see a lot of Dallas Goedert and Eli Stowers together, unless you're going to have the same problems you had last year with Dallas Goedert and Grant Calcaterra. You'll be better as a receiving group, but again, I mean, you just one.
Oh, that insinuates you're getting through 5-6 progressions. I don't know about that.
Well, and that's the second part, and I always go back to Doug explaining that as he got frustrated one day, and it's like you don't draw plays for your sixth option, and this team right now has, without AJ Brown, you're talking about Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Kai Lemon, Dontavian Wicks, Saquon Barkley, because he's on the field.
And that would be set. That would be he'd be option number 7 there, Eli Stowers.
So I mean, there's and you have a quarterback. By the way, I got that. Ooh, I tried to send you. I have like your old email. I tried to send this.
Zander at JAKIB Sports.
Oh, JAKIB. I have JAKIB Media.
Yeah, that's why it's my old line. It's not active.
All right. So anyway, I'll send it to you. Boy, was this thing unhinged, man. Woo. But anyway,
What was it?
It's about how we're so disrespectful to Jalen Hurts.
Us, me, and you.
Everybody, basically, but mainly me. No, but you were involved. Where evidently I'm poisoning you. You're a young person.
Oh gosh, these people are sick. All right, John. Round 3, pick 68 overall. Tackle Markel Bell out of Miami, a 6'9" behemoth of a dude. What'd you make of that pick, and what kind of impact do you think he's got?
Yeah, actually, this is my favorite pick of the draft for the Eagles. I love the pick. Again, not for this year, but for when Lane does retire. And look, you're never going to replace Lane Johnson. I don't expect him to become a Hall of Fame player, but I do think he could be a really, really good player. I mean, he's 6'9". He's got the longest arms I've ever seen. I'm sure there were longer ones. I'm sure it wasn't a record, but he's like a 7'3" guy with his wingspan. And even, and obviously at 6'9", the first thing you think about is the first thing we thought about with Jordan Mailata back in the day is leverage. You got to get your pads low. It's really difficult for those guys. So they can be
There's almost a pendulum, like where you could be so big it hurts you a little bit. Yeah.
Well, definitely with some guys who play with leverage, he can get rooted out pretty quickly. But the bottom line is he's so big and so long. Like even if you're getting around him, even if he loses, it's like orbiting the freaking moon. It's like by the time you get to the quarterback, he's gone. So, and I went through that with Bryant McKinney when I covered him. He was like 6'7", 6, and he'd get beat, and his arms were so long. This is why they want long arm people playing tackle. By the time they got there, the quarterback was out. And I think he's got a real chance. Now, he played left tackle in Miami. He was only there for a short time, but he's a very good college player. He's going to have to move to right tackle. So there's a little bit of concern. Now, I asked him that, and he said he's already working on it with Duke Manyweather and Lane Johnson, this, best buddy who does offensive line mastermind. So all positives. Howie called him a passion player for them. They obviously brought him in. They obviously liked him. So to be able to get him, they wanted Caden Proctor. They probably wanted Monroe Freeling. Can't 100% confirm that. But, I think after those guys went off the board, it became Markel Bell. And Howie read it right. Didn't have to take him at 54, had to take him at 68. And he got the player. So I like that pick a lot.
There you go. 6'9" Markel Bell landed at round 3, pick number 68. All right, John, next pick of the draft was 5th round. They obviously traded their 2 4th-round picks to the Dallas Cowboys to move up for Mekhi Lemon. So they went to the 5th round, and they picked up at pick number 178, quarterback Cole Payton at a North Dakota State University. We've come full circle, folks. 10 years after the drafting of Carson Wentz, we are back to taking a quarterback from North Dakota State. This one obviously not as high profile. John, what'd you make of the Cole Payton draft pick?
Yeah, I thought they would choose a different style of developmental quarterback on day 3. Thought they would take a quarterback, but again, I thought it would be more the Nussmeier, or even later, if it would have been later, the kid from Illinois. That type, pro-style quarter. Now, he plays in a pro-style offense. North Dakota State, this has been a thing at North Dakota State back to the days of Carson Wentz, so we're talking a decade ago. They're one of the few college programs that play a legit pro-style offense. And by that, the quarterback operates like a pro-style quarterback. He listens to the play. He does what he has to do. So he does have experience from that standpoint, which I think is good, but I saw a lot of Taysom Hill comparisons. Very big guy, very athletic, very strong. I saw some Jalen Hurts comparisons. I think not nearly advanced as a mechanical player as Jalen Hurts was coming out of Oklahoma. And that he's got a lot of. This is where Parks Frazier's got to come in. He's got a lot of the mechanical issues to tighten up. But he does have the arm strength. And he is a good athlete. But I think this is a long-term developmental quarterback. Like, Howie said, we value the position so much, we'll keep 4. I don't know if I believe him, but obviously this opens up the door for a potential trade of Tanner McKee again. Or Andy Dalton.
Is there a better chance he becomes, and I don't mean style-wise, I just mean a role on team. Is there a better chance he becomes Tanner McKee or a better chance he becomes Kyle McCord?
Oh, Kyle McCord.
Yeah, right. Go on.
I mean,
all things considered, Tanner's a pretty successful.
No, he'll be here the whole year. They're not going to cut him, but they didn't cut. Well, they waived, but they brought him back. Kyle McCord was here the whole year on the practice squad. After the season, he didn't sign a futures deal and went to Green Bay, but he was here the whole year. For people that don't realize that.
Yeah, just after the year he left, right after the season.
Yeah. And it's funny enough because it's probably a better fit for him in Green Bay with that offense, but now they're trying to run that offense. So maybe it would have worked out either way for him. With Cole Payton, they're going to lose Tanner after this year. So, do you want to move him early? You can talk about compensatory picks. I don't necessarily think he's getting a huge deal if he never plays. I don't think teams are going to go down that route. So maybe you're talking about a 5th or 6th round compensatory pick instead of the 3rd round that people think he might get. I think he's got to play to get that big money contract. And you hope he doesn't have to play. So it's kind of a catch-22. But I mean, he's not going to be the backup this year. No shot. So the backup's going to be Tanner McKee or Andy Dalton, and he's going to be the third quarterback. I find it hard to believe they're going to keep 4. Now, if he comes in, again, you don't want this to happen. If he comes in and is just terrible in training camp, maybe they can get him through waivers, and maybe they can, stash him on the practice squad.
That's kind of what I think, yeah.
In that way. But you're not hoping for a guy to fail, I would think. So I do think it gives them even more flexibility. And remember, where your leverage really increases, and I always go back to the Teddy Bridgewater injury and the Sam Bradford trade. Somebody gets hurt in training camp, and they start looking around, and they go, well, maybe Tanner McKee can play, and all of a sudden you got a second-round pick. That's what I think Howie's doing. All you need is one injury.
Yep, that's true, dude. And they normally happen, so we will see how that plays out. I'm in the camp of extending McKee. I think they should keep him around here, but we will see what they do with him. 6th round, John, pick 207, Micah Morris, the guard out of Georgia, extremely athletic guard. I think he was a 9.97 out of 10 on his relative athletic score.
God bless Kent Lee Platt. The relative athletic score.
I don't even know what it means, to be honest. I just see a good score and I say, all right, he's apparently athletic.
Well, what they're doing is they're taking the combine info dating back to 1987 and comparing it
with all the players that tested, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in the 99 percentile. Now that includes measurements, includes everything. So he's a really big guy. He can move, and he's really strong. It counts the strength numbers as well. He, owned the Georgia weight room at the Platinum Club, as they call it down there.
Yeah.
So he's really strong. So it's about more than just the athleticism. But you'll find the guys in the past decade or so are generally higher than obviously the guys from 1987, because in 1987, you would play the college season. You'd work out like you'd normally work out. You go to the combine, you do the drills, and it wasn't a big deal. Now, guys sign with agents. Their agents put them with trainers. They train specifically for these drills, and they do really well. So, take that with a grain of salt. Very powerful guys, I said. That's, I think, the strength of him as a player. Leverage issues, plays too high. So, I think think about last year's. Everybody forgets. Last year, they took 3 offensive linemen on day 3. 1 in the 5th round, 2 in the 5th round. Might have been, was Drew Kendall 4th or 5th round? Either way.
They took Drew. He wasn't 4th round last year.
They took Drew Kendall and Miles Hinton, and then they took Cameron Williams. 3 guys in the same range as Micah Morris. And how many of them played? This is a developmental guy.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can develop him.
We'll see about that. All right, John, 7th round, they picked 3 players. They started the draft with 0 picks in the 7th round, ended up with 3. First one was 244, safety Cole Wisniewski. You were a little high on him. My dad was high on him too. He was doing his draft reports, and he said to me, he said, Zander, did I hear you call Cole Wisniewski a Timu Reed Blankenship? That's a shit comment. I love Cole Wisniewski, so I've been already taking. I
love in my orbit. People are starting to use Tamu.
I use it all the time, John. Maybe that's what you've corrupted me on, the use of Tamu.
Yeah, I love that. Now, look, as I said, to be fair to Cole, he got drafted. Reed didn't even get drafted. So he's a little bit at least starting. He's a little bit ahead of Reed, but the reason. Howie spoke about it afterwards. So I don't know if you heard his comments when he was talking about it with Snooski, but he brought up Reed Blankenship, and he brought
Yeah,
up
I heard those. Yep.
how he reminds him of Reed Blankenship, longtime college starter. He was at North Dakota State as well, so he was a teammate with Cole Payton before he finished at Texas Tech. So he's got a ton of experience at the college level, just like Reed. He's a bigger safety, just like Reed. He was a linebacker. He started a linebacker at North Dakota State before they moved him. High football IQ, big instinct player. So a lot to the point where Howie saw them as well. But, when I heard Howie's comments, like he spoke so glowingly of Reed Blankenship, I said, well, why didn't you fucking sign the guy?
Yeah, right. Right.
And it is what it is. 8.25 million is pretty expensive. And you're trying, obviously, you get more cost effective. And if it works out, it's great. But the most important part, though, is he has opportunity. Look, right now, the starting safety opposite Drew Makuba is going to be either Marcus Epps or Michael Carter. So there's opportunity there. Like why I said about Eli Stowers, well, where's the opportunity to break through? Right. Markel Bell, where's the opportunity to break through? Cole Payton, where's the opportunity? Micah Morris, where's the opportunity? There's no opportunity. Those are all developmental players. And certainly with Uar, the ultimate developmental player. And Keyshawn James Newby, who I think, his goal should be the practice squad, to be honest. This is the one guy you look at and say, besides Mekhi Lemon, who's going to be part of the offense, he's the only other draft pick you say, well, there might be an avenue if this guy performs well in the summer that he can get on the field.
Yeah, maybe with Cole Wisniewski. John, last two picks, 251, Uar Bernard, you just mentioned him, the International Player Pathway Program, a 6'4" or 6'5" absolute unit. Johnny Mack, what'd you make of that pick by the Birds? I thought that was an interesting, a fun one for round 7, where you're throwing darts.
Only Howie would target a 7th rounder. And he confirmed it. I asked him right away. I go, what do you mean? Was that about Uar? Right away. And he said, yep. He didn't even hesitate. They wanted this kid. Doesn't surprise me. But I do think people forget how long it took Jordan Mailata to succeed. It was into his 3rd season. So this is a multi-year project.
Yeah, and Jordan Mailata, I wouldn't expect. That's the top of the top for the expectations here.
Well, that's the goal. That's why they did it.
I know.
At the defense of Jordan Mailata. But again, it's not immediate. It's going to be a multi-year process.
Right.
He's one of the best athletes at his size in the history of the world. So can you teach him how to play football? And now, Jeff Stoutland, when he ultimately does retire and go into the Hall of Fame, and he's already gotten the PFWA Lifetime Achievement Award, the headline to it all, of all the great offensive linemen that Jeff Stoutland developed and brought along, number one, not the best, but number one, because he did it from scratch, is Jordan Mailata. He did it from scratch. Now this is Clint Hurt's opportunity to turn into a Jeff Stoutland.
Clint, you could become a legend if you turn Uar Bernard into a player. John, they closed it up round 7, 252 overall. Outside linebacker, edge rusher, Keyshawn James Newby out of New Mexico. Your thoughts on that final pick of the NFL draft for the Eagles?
My thoughts are APR turned into KJN. That's very similar to last year with Antoine Powell-Ryland, who was a 6th-round pick. Keyshawn James Newby was a 7th rounder, but late pass rusher who's got some skill. See if he can develop it. Didn't work last year with Antoine Powell-Ryland. Again, start him off on the practice squad. Remember how deep you are at defensive, at edge defender right now with Jonathan Grenard's here. who, by the way, is the biggest part of this draft by far. Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Arnold Ebiketie, Joe Tryon, and then Keyshawn James Newby. That's a lot of bodies to go by. Oh, you're muted, Zander.
All right, that's the draft recap, everybody. All 8 picks as we discussed. And real quick, we got Jeff Kerr coming up. Looking forward to talking to Jeff in a second. I want to thank everybody. Hit that like button. John, just real quick, I want to mention them because we haven't yet on the network. The undrafted free agents. You got couple guys.
Couple
Alabama guys, couple Ole Miss guys, a Florida player, 5 of 8 SEC guys, also an international player, and Joshua Weiroo, Wofford from Maximus Pulley, and then a Washington State player.
By the way, Weiroo is the second best international pathway project.
Yeah, so they got both of them. But, John, there's a lot of hype on Deontay Lawson, linebacker at Alabama.
I'll tell you who the hype should be on. Rocco Underwood.
Okay. Long snapper out of Florida.
Just they need a long snapper.
Right.
That's why.
Did they re-sign the guy that they had last year, Hewlett?
No, Rocco Underwood is their only long snapper.
Rocco, welcome to Philadelphia, my friend.
Now, they were trying to sign, and Jeff will probably know, they're trying to sign the Penn State kid. I don't know if he signed. Their long snapper, who's pretty good. I think they want to bring in another one for some competition. But of all the names who you say who could contribute, the name you should be looking at is Rocco Underwood.
Yeah, the other 2 guys that are getting some hype is John Deontay Lawson, who was a 3-year starter at Alabama, wore the green dot. I don't know if he went undrafted, obviously, for a reason. And then Daquan Wright, the tight end at Ole Miss. John, I'm not sure if you watched his highlight tape. This dude is like almost every play is an explosive play. He averages like 16 or 17 yards per catch in college last year as a tight end. It was pretty amazing. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if he'll be anything in Philadelphia. He's undrafted.
Means Ole Miss had a good offense last year.
Yeah, they did. Lane Kiffin, yep.
That's what that means. And Trinidad Chambliss is suing people to stay.
Yeah, well, he better be able to play, or else he really screwed himself up.
The guys who had draftable grades by some were Lawson, Wright, the 2 guys you mentioned, plus Jaden Roberts, who's a guard from Alabama.
Yeah.
And Kapina Gushikin, the cornerback from Ole Miss. So some people said, all right, these guys might be 6th, 7th round picks. Weiroo is a big deal because he's, like I said, and he's an edge rusher prospect, very athletic, international player pathway. And nobody cares about the long snapper, but you need a long snapper. And right now, Rocco Underwood, great name, Rocco.
That's a great name. Great name.
Is the Eagles' long snapper.
There you go. All right, good stuff. Good draft breakdown. That's the undrafted free agent class. We will talk a little bit more about them as the week progresses, obviously. But I did want to recap kind of the Eagles draft picks this year. We got the great Jeff Kerr coming up here. Here's Power Ranger says, I'm high on Daquan Wright. There you go. Could be an undrafted free agent gem for tight end 3 and have a bigger role in the future. Good size, lots of explosive plays.
For tight end 3. Who's getting cut? He might be on the practice squad. He might replace.
I think Alcantara is going to get cut, John.
Okay, but then you still have 3.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that he's going to be in. I'm just saying that's who I do think gets cut because now they have redundancy with Eli Stowers. They don't need it.
Well, I agree. But the point is, he said tight end 3. The point is you have Goddard, you have Muntz, you have Stowers. So I think, he'll probably replace, my guess is, if he does well in the summer, Daquan Wright, he'll replace E.J. Jenkins on the practice squad. He's been on the practice squad. You might sort of flip that if he does well.
Yeah, 2 super chats on a Monday morning after the draft, John, and both of them are about Daquan Wright. People must like Daquan Wright. Thoughts on the Ole Miss tight end? We just talked about him. So thanks, Brando Shreds.
Whoa.
Runs like
Derrick Henry? Come on, guys.
John wasn't letting that.
Wow. Come on.
I didn't even read it, and Johnny Mack called it out.
Whoa. Really, these comps got to stop. I don't think they're fair with, like Mekhi Lemon, a first-round pick. Like, we were joking because I think Jeremiah compared him to Puka And I think one of the other big time draft people compared him to Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I'm like, oh my God, what? I mean, let's settle down a little bit.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about undrafted kids running like Derrick Henry.
All right, Daquan Wright, baby. He's got some hype, Johnny Mac. Get ready. We'll be doing Daquan Wright reports all through the summer. All right, good stuff. Let's get to Jeff Kerr. He's set to join us here on Birds 365. Jeff, sorry to keep you waiting. He joins us right now. You can follow him at Jeff Kerr PHL. Read all his coverage at si.com/NFL/Eagles alongside John McMullen. Jeff, excellent work as always covering the NFL draft this weekend. Welcome in on a Monday morning. How you doing this morning, my friend?
I just submitted the 53-man roster projection already.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Oh,
yeah. I called it the completely wrong 53-man roster projection.
Oh, we're in that season. I'll project one for the contest, and I'll win.
I was going to say, you want to do one now, and we all just compare you, me, and Ed?
Sure, we could do that, but yeah, we'll do
My
that.
money's on Johnny Mac. Sorry, Jeff.
AJ,
no. My money's on Johnny Mac. I was so arrogant with mine. I'm like, I'm just going to go double down on Howie Roseman's comments of, we could keep 4 quarterbacks. So I actually decided to do that. Not that I believe it's going to happen.
There you go.
I was much better at it before they changed the rules. I'm a former champion, but when they changed the rules, when they expanded the practice squad and you can manipulate, then it becomes a lot more difficult to get the bottom 5 guys because, guys are going to make, like, I knew Nick Gates was going to make the team a couple years ago.
You tipped me off on that.
Yeah, and they did the practice squad thing and then brought him up. Britton Covey as well. They did that. So they've done it a number of times where they push it back 3 weeks for the, you can elevate them for 3 weeks. So it's a little bit more difficult, a little bit more strategy to it. But if you're not getting 48 now, even with the rule changes, you don't know what's going on if you're at practice every day. But it unveils itself, as Nick Sirianni said when he was talking about hiring Sean Mannion. He unveiled himself. Well, revealed. He revealed himself.
By the way, I like how Sean Mannion wasn't like front and center at that photo like everybody
He's tall.
else was.
That's nothing. Everybody's so conspiracy laden. Like I took a picture of Sean Mannion because I knew what would happen, basically, which is like, he lives, he exists. The Eagles never bring out their coordinators until May. Ever. Vic Fangio they brought out.
Yeah, but I like that people bitch about it because I hope the Eagles will change. They never will.
I did like the conspiracy theorists were like, look how Dom DeSander's in front of Nick Sirianni, and look who's protecting Nick Sirianni. I'm like, oh my God, the
I
joke's
like
right
how Dom was like a red.
He had the red. He had the red. I put it. It was the Beatles. I put the 4 main people, which I put also.
Here, I think I got the picture right here. There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, Nick and Howie, Dom.
If you guys are looking at the screen, look at the very top left of that photo. You can see Sean Mannion's mug and his new bald head. There he is.
It's awesome. I like that. That's like the greatest thing. I looked for him right away. I'm like, there he is. There's Sean Mannion.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, but if you look at the.
By the way, Zander, you're cutting off some of the great people on the PR staff there.
Johnny that was just a photo. That was the photo Johnny Mac shared up, dude.
Well, if you go later, there's a close-up of Nick, Howie, Dom, and Vic right in front. Those are the 4 sort of lead guys. It's like the Beatles.
I'll try and pull it up.
I think when Vic was at the Phillies game the other week, he wanted Rob Thompson fired then.
Yeah, is Topper getting fired today?
He's gone.
I got enough where I think something's going to happen.
Can you also fire Nick Nurse? My God, that was
can they fire Joel Embiid too? What?
I don't like calling for people firing. How does Tyrese Maxey? Nobody can make a shot, and he doesn't take a shot for 9 minutes. The game's over. The game was over.
I want to be that guy, because I do like Tyrese. I think he might be the most overrated player in this city. I think they overrate him to it so. Well, he's a really good player, but he's not that
No,
game
he's not.
changing difference.
He's not an NBA star or superstar player, but
Yeah.
he's the best player they have. And when nobody can hit the side of his barn, he's got to take over the offense.
Here's a crazy idea. How about the Sixers play Joel Embiid last night, but he starts on the bench?
Well, they kowtow everything, man. You know, that's the problem.
The playoffs, dude. It's not time for that bullshit. I don't get.
Well, they were playing fine without him. That's why I get upset. They didn't.
Guys, I love you both. There is one thing I do not want a tangent on this morning. It's the Philadelphia 76ers.
Well, I just wanted
they drive me crazy.
I just wanted to rip them. Really.
Here, John,
watching them lose by 30 was more entertaining than the NFL draft.
There's the close up.
There's your growth score.
There it is. Yep.
Check out Dom DeSandre's Kango lid. That's a fire Kango lid. There it is with the red.
There's.
I swear, Vic's looking at John in that pick.
That's possible.
There's.
I mean that you. That's where you were.
Yeah. There's. John, Paul, George, and Ringo. There you go.
I love Nick, man. So many people don't like Nick Sirianni. Man, I love it. He's
guys,
stoic,
you know what I've noticed?
he's confident.
I like Nick too. I've always liked him, but I mean, he's a little goofy, but I think he does a good job. You know what I've noticed about Nick Sirianni though? You know, when he first got here, he looked like the youngster, the young coach in the league, the young guy.
He's gotten old.
He doesn't look young at all. He looks like the grizzly seasoned coach nowadays after 5-6 years.
John and I have heard him during press conferences. He's just like, do I really have to be here?
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, that job will wear. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like being the president. You're going to age in that job, especially in Philadelphia.
If I was like a head coach of the NFL team, especially in the Philadelphia market, I would just point at reporters. I'd be like, point at McMullen, point at Kratz, point at McLean, point at Zangaro.
I got the best piece of hate mail ever yesterday. That one of my top. I would say one of my top 10.
John, I need this email to me ASAP. I got to see this hate mail.
Yeah, we got to put it on the show for all our listeners.
I don't want to.
No, you don't have to add them, but I want you to email it to me. But Jeff, what'd you make of the Eagles draft class, dude? They had 8 picks. Makai Lemon, obviously, in round 1, and didn't get a chance to talk to you until now. Just your thoughts on the Eagles draft picks, that they made over the weekend.
The first 2 days, I thought they crushed it. I really did. I wanted them to get a veteran pass rusher, a premium pass rusher in the worst way, I think. And, you know, you're kind of hearing behind the scenes, like they're still talking with the Vikings about Jonathan Grenard, but nothing was official. But until it happened, I'm like, all right, this is the best move of the draft for them. This is what they needed. I was about to flip out on today's show if they walked in here on Monday with still Jay Alexander and Nolan Smith as their starting edge rushers, because we did that song and dance last year. It wasn't that great. And both these players are going to benefit from having Grenard next to them. And all of a sudden, Arnold Ebiketie your number 4 defensive end, and you're deep there. You're already deep at defensive tackle. I think it's a top 5 defense again, if we're going to be completely honest. So I love that move. The Levin move, I thought it was, okay, they're going to trade up. But who are they going to trade up for? And I'm just looking at the board like, wow, Makai Levin's still here. I'm like, thank you, Rams, because everybody kind of had him mocked to the Rams until the Rams changed the entire draft and drafted Ty Simpson. But I'm like, maybe the Eagles are interested in him. I don't know. Like, I knew he had 30 visit with them, but I wasn't sure. And then they drafted him. I'm like, well, what we all know, A.J. Brown's not going to be back. So you got him there with Devonta Smith. You can interchange him and Dontrevion Wicks, which I kind of like. He's a master in the slot. I like that pick. The Eli Stoward, that's John's boy. But I like that pick too. But the first 3 days, it's like, if your worst pick is Markel Bell, and I don't even think that's a bad pick,
I love that pick.
I
love the Markel Bell pick.
I didn't even care what they did on day 3. I'm like, they did what they had to do the first 2 days of the draft.
Well, I think, you know, Makai Lemon, I don't know how it's going to be taken, because I think Makai Lemon's the only one that's going to play a significant role early on. Markel Bell's obviously a developmental player on the 3rd round. But I do think, you know, people expect, you know, 8 people, you're going to spread the football around. Eli Stowers is going to make plays. I don't know.
Maybe not in year 1, but he definitely has that.
Well, I think, 2027, that's going to look really good, Eli Stowers. If he does what he needs to do, when it comes to the blocking part of it, add some weight, get stronger. I think all of a sudden that's going to turn into a really good pick. And to Howie's credit, it's not, he says all the time, it's not just about the immediacy. We look at this 2-3 years down the road and where the player's going to be, the mature player's going to be 3 years down the road.
It's a shame Stowers, and again, this is a credit to Stowers, how good he was in college. When you win the Mackey Award.
The Mackey Award.
Yeah,
where's our Harrison Bryant buddy? The Mackey Award. Yeah. They got the Blitnikoff Award winner and the Mackey Award winner.
But you know who the last couple winners of the Mackey Award are, don't you?
I do not, because I don't pay attention.
Tyler Warren, who was really good in year one. Brock Bowers, 2 years prior, the last 2 years prior.
Yeah,
we know how good Brock Bowers is. I know, but he's going to get lumped into that.
Yeah, well, you're right. And I like
Well, Harrison Bryant also won the Mackey
Award. Harrison Bryant won the Mackey Award.
So, there are good college players who don't project to the pros. Best example ever would be Tim Tebow's one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time, just did not have an NFL skill set.
There's
this year
big in the college football world. Speaking of quarterbacks, boy, are people upset Diego Pavia didn't get drafted. And all the college guys are telling you he was never getting drafted.
No. I mean, he's just not. He's a perfect example. He was a great college player. I love him. I love that kid. Vanderbilt became my favorite team, basically.
That's why John became an Eli Stowers savant.
But he never was going to be a NFL big time draft pick. He just doesn't project. He doesn't have the skill set to play in the league. So there is a difference between even high level SEC football. There is a big difference, a big jump, and you need a base sort of skill set from a measurables and athleticism standpoint to play in the NFL. And there's certain guys who can excel in college that don't project well in the NFL. I remember Michael Sam when he came out. Not that there's anything wrong with that. He was co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year. And everybody would say, oh, the NFL just doesn't like gay players. And I'm like, he's 6'2". He's got arms that are 30.
Yeah.
He doesn't project to the NFL level. And sure enough, he didn't play well. I think he was a 7th round pick, but I remember all the stories.
So John, do you want to know the Blitnikoff Award winners over the last couple of years?
Sure.
Travis Hunter, before Lemon, Marvin Harrison, Jalen Hyatt,
Smitty,
Jordan Addison. Yep,
he won
Devontae
Heisman. He better damn well than
Jamar Chase, Jerry Jeudy, James Washington won it. I forgot he won it.
Yeah.
Mari Cooper's on that list. Marquise Lee was on that list. Remember, everybody thought he was going to be really good.
So the Eagles pick up the Blitnikoff winner, they pick up the John Mackey winner, and then they pick up a 6'9" tackle. Looks like he can decleat Jordan Mailata.
Did you see? You know what? I was trying to remember the clip of Markel Bell, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He was in the college football playoff semifinals. Went on that screen pass where he uses his arm.
Like, Indiana. Wait, what? Yeah. That was the who was that?
No, that was the title game. That was the title game. Yeah.
Was that D'Angelo Pons, the 5'8" cornerback who got drafted this year?
Angelo, yeah, he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, that was Angelo Pons.
I think that's who got destroyed by him on that play. Because I saw that same clip, Jeff Kerr.
And I was just like, wow, Markel Bell. Okay, I see you now. I mean, look, I'm definitely not upset about them drafting. They needed to draft an offensive lineman in that 3rd round and probably got by far the best one available. I definitely wouldn't have traded back. You have a chance to get him, you get him.
Well, for all the talk, that was my main takeaway. For all the talk about how the scheme change would change the draft process, didn't change it at all.
No.
They drafted 2 monsters on the offensive line. They weren't looking for mobile athletic guys.
I think Morris makes this team too, by the way. I put him on my 53.
Wait, who was it? Who'd you put on your 53?
Micah Morris.
Oh, Michael Morris. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael
He's an
Morris.
interesting name. I mean, he fell far, but I saw somebody put out he hasn't given up a sack in like 3 years now. Some of this stuff, John, I struggle with. How do you contextualize
He's
it all?
a bruiser in the
We're
run.
in the
He's a
sixth
bruiser in
round
the
of the
running
NFL
game.
draft.
Here's my problem with college numbers. And Jeff knows I'm not a statistics guy at the pro level, never mind college. College, it's even worse because you play at a school like Georgia, you're winning 8-9 games before you even take the field. I mean, you just have more talent than everybody else you're playing. And then there's 3 or 4 SEC games that if you play poorly, maybe they're competitive. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters against the freaking Washington Generals. All right, who cares? He didn't give up.
It's still funny to me. My biggest shocker of the draft was, and I thought for sure this guy would get drafted on day 2, was the Key Weekly, the Penn State safety. Thought for sure he'd get drafted on day 2.
I thought he'd go top 15.
No, I wouldn't have that. The only top 15 pick in that draft was Vega, and you know that.
I thought he'd go top. I thought all 15 top picks would be Penn State guys.
I was shocked Nicholas Singleton got drafted over Katron Allen. He got drafted before Katron.
Why? He's a better player for most.
I know he's a better player, but the draft picks tell me he's not. So,
well, Katron might have a better overall skill set. Again, it's about projection. It's not what they did in college. It's about what are they going to do.
And Tennessee is a great fit for him. I was told, and again, this is leading up to this. Look for Kansas City. Look for Tennessee. There were a couple other teams.
Anytime you're a day 3 pick, like here, when you talk about Wisniewski, he's got a better chance here because they need a safety.
Yeah, so, and I like that. You take a flyer on him.
Yeah, if you it's good to go. If you're a running back on day 3 and you go to a team that needs a running back, that's a good situation for you.
Yeah, he was. It was funny too because when it was like 160, I saw him thinking about. I'm like, dude, it's go time. Like this is it. These are the teams. These teams you talk to. When Kansas City took Johnson, and I'm like, oh, Tennessee's available. About 2 minutes later, Tennessee.
All right, who's Dallas, Giants, Washington? Ooh. I'll ask both you guys.
Oh man, that's a good question. I did like the Caleb Downs pick.
I love the Caleb Downs pick.
I mean, that's you know what? I actually like the DN Downs.
I had Caleb Downs as the best pick in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I had the best pick in round 1 as Caleb Downs, so I think can't you default to the best pick of the draft? It's probably in round 1.
Are you an Arvell Reese guy, John? I am, but
he's a good player. Certainly in this draft, he belonged in the top 10. My concern with him is, size, and obviously, I don't know if he can hold up.
So, I think in most years he's not a top 10 pick.
Yeah, he's a tweener. So from a physical standpoint, so you worry about how that looks, and that's why I advocated Bailey for the Jets, and I think they made the right decision. But
I mean, the only thing I didn't get there is like they got to move on from an edge rusher, don't they?
They say they're keeping Thibodeau, but we'll see.
Just feels like, I mean, where's Reese going to get on the field? I understand, John, you brought up like the NASCAR package where you can just put 4 pass rushers out there. But
I think definitely Thibodeau's the odd man out. Like he's the one who's going to be, if they keep him, like he's going to be the NASCAR guy and play inside, and
right.
And they'll probably
when they drafted Francis Maioga, I'm just like, okay, I don't think the Eagles are getting a tackle in round 1.
Yeah.
Because that was the second tackle pick. They were back to back. I'm like, the Eagles might have to pivot here, or
yeah. I think later in the draft, I forget which round this was, but somebody jumped the Giants and picked up the run stuffer. Who was that huge run stuffer that got drafted? I'm blanking on his name right now. Somebody jumped them and took the run stuffer right in front of the Giants.
Was it on day 3? It was on day 3, or
was it? It might have been day 3. It might have been day 3. Just day 2 or 3. Obviously wasn't round 1. The Giants, picked at the top, but
I'm just looking at the Giants draft class in general. Like I like Malachi Fields. I thought that was a good pick for him in the 3rd round.
Well, he's a contested catch guy. I'm not a big contested catch guy fan. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
but they
think he
already
can get
have Malik
separation.
Neighbors, so they can, you know.
So where did they pick? I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah,
The
so they
Giants
have
game.
so the Giants had 74 in the third, 186 in the sixth. I think they traded down, if I remember, after
Yeah, but
this
who
happened.
got picked at 73?
73
picked?
was Oscar Delp, my guy. My
Okay.
The
guy.
tight end. Yeah.
Yeah, then no.
So
Oscar
no, I
Delp.
agree with you, Xander. It's
I thought I remembered that happened. I was live on air and somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, they just took the nose tackle," because obviously the Giants just traded away Dexter
and
Lawrence.
I really like the Cowboys draft.
The Cowboys had a good draft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
really
Cowboys had a good
I liked
draft.
Malachi Lawrence.
I wasn't in
I
love
think
with
he's
the
a good
Malachi.
fit for CP.
What'd you make of the Malachi Lawrence pick? I mean, I just felt like they could have gotten
I
him
like the
later.
player and I like the fit. I grade the Eagles Cowboys trade. I gave both teams an A, and I said, look, I get what the Cowboys did, but I think they knew we can get Lawrence at 23. I think deep down they do. Look, Pittsburgh kind of played their hand, and I don't think the Chargers are going to go that route. I thought the Chargers might go edge rusher, but yeah,
Well,
I think they knew
they carpet bombed Dallas, carpet bombed edge. So I mean, they not only took Malachi Lawrence, they took
they got Barnum.
Barnum.
Is it Barnum or Barham? It's Barham.
And then LT Overton from Alabama on day 3. So they took
also
3
got a
edge
guy
rushers.
They also got a guy I coach against that scored 37 points off my team. 36, sorry. I added a point.
Anthony Smith.
No, Drew Shelton. He was center for Dangtown West when I was
I
coaching
should
at
have known.
Oxford. Yeah.
Well, I assume he was playing center, Drew Shelton.
He was the center, and our center was lanky, athletic, but he wasn't like a scorer or anything. But like he took one look at Drew Shelton, he's like,
"Yeah, I'm not. I'm tapping out." Yeah, that's not a bad.
By the way, I found the dude I was thinking of. It was higher. It was actually not day 3. It was the top of round 2. Caden McDonald, if you guys remember.
Okay, McDonald. Okay,
they traded up there for the 4th pick of the 2nd round, and they took Caden McDonald. And then the Giants were the next pick. They ended up taking Colton Hood. Now, maybe the Giants wanted Colton Hood, but I thought there was a reason the Texans, slid.
Yeah, I thought Caden McDaniel was going 18 overall.
Yeah,
I was in the right church, wrong pew, because I knew Minnesota would reach for a defensive tackle, and they went with Caleb Banks instead of Caden McDonald.
Yeah, you had the right idea. But by the way, John, I thought your column on Saturday was very good about Jalen Hurts.
Which one? Did you see that? I sent you the email.
Yeah, I saw it. That's got to be a top 10er.
But basically, like they're telling Hurts, like, here you go.
Lord.
Well, wait, I got to read the column. I didn't read. I was live most of the day Saturday, so I didn't read it yet.
Well,
but we had a lot of content coming out over the last couple of days.
I said it on the air as well, so you heard it. I
was gonna say, Zander, I'm pretty sure he talked about it.
Now, you're drafting 2 guys who excel inside the field with a quarterback who traditionally doesn't throw the football in the middle of the field. Now, after talking to Howie, that was my immediate take, and I'm saying, well, are they trying to force feed this to Jalen Hurts? And now I've come back from that because I've talked to him 3 times, so it was just circumstance. But ultimately, it ends up in the same place. You have guys who excel in the middle of the field, and you have a quarterback that doesn't throw the football in the middle of the field. So what is it going to look like? Again, I don't think they did it purposefully. I think it was circumstance, but they don't necessarily their strengths. So what happens? That's Sean Mannion's job. What is he going to do? How is this going to look? But very, very clearly, it became very clearly they weren't drafting players with Sean Mannion in mind. They were drafting the guys who they thought were the best players at the particular time. In the 2 receivers, look, Mekhi Lemon, maybe it's Justin Jefferson. Everybody said Jefferson's a slot player. Jefferson's a slot player because he played slot at LSU. Well, they had Chase and that other kid who was here for a while.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of his name? Who was the other LSU receiver? It's a second round pick. He was here last year. Well, I'm losing my mind.
What's his name?
Anyway,
why don't I know this?
Jeff, I thought you had it.
No, I did have it, and then I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. Anyway, it'll come to me. But anyway, the point was they had these two.
Terrace Marshall.
Terrace Marshall. Thank you. Thank you.
They had these two big outside receivers, and Jefferson could play inside. And he excelled inside, obviously. But there were people who said, well, he only plays inside. Well, he only plays inside because Chase is outside. Maybe that's the case with Mekhi Lemon. Maybe he can play outside. But
I mean, I know Lincoln Riley loves the guy. And
you know what I like about Lemon is he kind of looks like these newer receivers that you're seeing that can kind of line up anywhere, inside, outside. You can move them all around. They win a lot inside the numbers. You know, I'm not comparing Lemon to these players, but just from
Puka,
any of those guys, Puka.
I just want to get this guy and Quinyon Mitchell.
Some of these smaller receivers that are shifty can line up anywhere, and you can use them in a lot of different ways.
He does train with Amon-Ra, so maybe that's where the Amon-Ra comparisons came in.
Well, if he can be Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Eagles are going to be just fine.
I just want to see him and Quinyon Mitchell in a dark room watching football because that's all those two seem to want to do. That's all Quinyon Mitchell wants to do. That's all I'm told that Mekhi Lemon wants to do.
Good. So do with a good work ethic.
Well,
I can't wait till John McMullen has like conversations with Mekhi Lemon and you get like 5-word answers.
Well, you probably will, but that's all right. And as long as the dude delivers on Sundays, I mean, shit.
I'm going to be talking to Grenard for 45 minutes. That dude is phenomenal.
Grenard. He's awesome. I mean, that press conference was freaking awesome. I was like, finally, here's an adult in the room. This guy is a mature adult.
Well, that's because he gets it. There are some people who do get it. I say this when I cover baseball. There's a lot of people that get it, and I wish it would translate over to the other team I cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, I love that trade, man. I love that.
I do too. I couldn't.
You guys go with the double threes. I was good with it. I had no problem.
I was. Yeah, I didn't care.
Who cares?
I honestly thought they were going to have to give up their second.
They already took the 1 3rd-round pick, and I got to look up who they got.
The Vikings in round
3. They took Jacob Thomas from Miami, a safety at 98 overall. I mean, all right, good luck with that. Maybe he's a fit for Brian Flores.
Jacob Thomas for Jonathan Gennard because you didn't want.
And they'll get a third.
I like their pick right ahead of that. I think they took Caleb Tiernan, the tackle that you liked.
Yeah, I like that pick. I like that
pick for round 3.
Here's the other thing too. It's not like the Vikings don't have pass rushers.
No, well, yeah, but they have Dallas Turner, who's been a disappointment. He's another Alabama guy. So that's the thought process. They have Dallas Turner, who came on when Grenard got hurt last year.
And they have Van Ginkel.
And Van Ginkel's awesome, but Turner's the guy. Like he's got to be a legit pass rusher, and there's no evidence. And then he drafted the Cincinnati kid, Jake Golday, who some people have as an inside linebacker, some people have as an outside linebacker. To me, he's a pass rusher. So,
all right. Here's the question, John. I'm going to write this today. Did the Eagles improve from Jalen Phillips with this trade?
I think so.
I think they did.
I think so.
I think they got him, so they did for most Eagles fans. But I've said yes, he's a better pass rusher.
Yeah, and he's cheaper. And you only have to give up 2/3.
Look, I mean this with no disrespect at all to Jalen Phillips. He was a good player, but I think that's what he was, a good player.
Well, but here's the problem.
He was a great player.
He was exactly what
Grenard has been a great player. Now he's not, he's got to do it here.
I think Grenard's better. I think I love Grenard. I think people have emphasized. I've said that pretty consistently before they made the deal. I said it'd be a home run if they make the deal. They made the deal. I said it was a home run. I love the player. However, the fact that, and this is where Howie gets too much rope. He gave up a 3rd-round pick for Jalen Phillips. Yeah, all right. He's going to get one back next year.
The Panthers made that pick, by the way.
Well, he's going to get a compensatory back for it next year. It'll be a third round pick because of the size of the contract, if and how he's going to work it the right way, where they'll get it. So, and then he gave up 2 third-round picks to get it. You know, you could pay the guy and keep all your third-round picks. You could do that too. That needs to be added to it.
That's true.
You know, what's the difference of $5 million if you get
that pick ended up being Chris Brazell, by the way.
Well, John, that to me comes down to if you believe he's the better player, then it's worth departing with the 2/3.
But I mean, look, the Eagles, he admitted that they were in the mix for Grenard when he was a free agent 2 years earlier, and they signed Bryce Huff. And I forgot who got more money, but I'm pretty sure the Eagles signed Bryce Huff first.
The Eagles signed Huff first, but Grenard, wasn't it a 2-year, like, I want to say it was like 50 some.
So technically it's net 1/3, right? I think Slager's right in the chat. It would be net. So they basically spent an extra 3 to get Grenard because they're getting one back for letting Phillips walk, probably.
Well, they are getting one back, but
so if they signed him, then they obviously wouldn't get that back. So the question would then become, would you trade Jalen Phillips?
4 years, $76 million he got with the Vikings.
Yeah, so and they gave Huff like 3, so they didn't want to go that high. They could have had him before. There's a lot of avenues, and remember that's funny money, half of it. So you're talking the first 2 years, so they can structure it. Yeah, I mean, I you know, they could have saved some draft capital. And look, they wanted to sign. Here's the part that will get lost in the revision. Their number one priority entering free agency, this is not speculation, this is reporting, was Jalen Phillips. They wanted him back.
Yep.
That was the goal. And this was the pivot off of that. And now, do I think it's going to work? Yes.
Yeah. I think it's.
It was not. It was not the original.
You know, I said on this show a couple times, I would not want to get to Monday at noon and Jalen Phillips was available.
Yeah,
because someone was going to take him, and it happened. But they got a
better
player.
I don't know if I'm drinking the Kool-Aid because it just happened, but I think it's the better move. I mean, it's $80 million guaranteed for Phillips versus $50 million. Like, I'm not going to go into the money. I mean, the money.
It's really a 2-year deal.
Howie's going to figure out the money better than I am. But I'm just saying, $80 million guaranteed versus $50 million. I think Grenard has a bigger upside as a player, and
quite frankly, you need.
I'm good with giving up the 3s. Yeah, I'm good with giving up the 3s.
You know what? This is the opposite of what the Phillies do.
What am I missing? It's not net 1-3. You gave up a 3 to get Jalen Phillips. Now you're going to get that
1-3, right? Technically,
what's that?
It would be less 1-3, not net. I guess I said net.
Yeah, but it should be 2. You're losing 2.
But they're getting one back because they let Phillips walk. So if they paid Phillips, they wouldn't be getting one back, and they would
get one back in 27.
But understand they used the third round pick to get Phillips originally. So they're getting that.
They use their own third to trade for Phillips.
So
not the Jets
at the trade deadline. So they're getting that back in compensatory fashion. They gave up 2 third round picks. Now they got a 7 back, for which, you know, obviously was Uar. So if he develops, maybe. But they gave up
27-7, right? I thought there was some confusion.
Oh yeah, it was a future. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There was confusion. They announced it was a 2027. So they got a 2027 7th round back. So they gave up 2 third-round picks to get. Look, I still do it.
Yeah, see, one of them though was for last year, right? I mean, you gave up the 3rd for last year, technically.
Well, that's what I'm saying is they gave up a 3rd-round pick for Jalen Phillips. They gave up 2 3rd-round picks for Jonathan Grenard.
What he's saying is you could just keep your own guys and keep the thirds.
Yes. Yeah, I got you. I think I'd do it. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know. I'm with you, John. So 3rd-round picks. Sometimes
I thought they were gonna have to give up a 2nd for Grenard because you
already know one of them is Jacoby Thomas. I don't know. Jacoby Thomas might be great, but
But the odds
I'd
are
rather
probably
have
won't be
Jonathan
great.
Grenard. And by the way, if you listen to Rob Brzezinski after they traded him,
Well, he said it was a salary cap move.
yeah, he was almost despondent. Like, we didn't want to do it. We had to do it.
We kind of had to. Yeah, I mean,
so
they said a lot of glowing things about Jonathan Grenard. And
I would say to Eagle fans who didn't get a chance to listen to Jonathan Grenard's opening press conference,
it was awesome.
if you're not a press conference listener, I think that's one worth listening to. Just so you understand, I think that's going to be a player that really brings not just a good player on the field. I think he's going to be a great leader on that defense, which is a pretty young unit. So I'm excited about that.
Look, I made this pretty clear. I'm a big fan of the player. I think it's going to be a home run of a trade. However, I feel the need to push back to the just sycophant Howie fans who are like, oh, he did it again.
Howie. Yeah.
It's like, look, he's the best GM in the NFL. I say it all the time, but he ain't perfect. And this was a pivot because something else he wanted to do didn't work. I think that,
and he's good at doing the pivot. So I think that's
I agree, but you can make an argument that was good discipline by Howie, because I don't think 30 million John, if you remember, we were talking like,
but it's not just a contract.
23 for Phillips.
Remember, it was 18 on spot track. You're like, sign me up.
It was 17.3 on spot track.
Where do I spend this money?
I literally laughed out loud.
Yes, you did, but still, 30 M's is a lot for Phillips, dude. He wasn't that great.
Yeah, but
that's free agency.
It's not just. It's about the picks as well.
Yeah.
Fuck the picks.
And they value draft picks, and they value 2027 draft picks, and they had to give up one.
It's only fuck the picks when you don't have the picks, and when you do have the picks, it's this guy's going to be great, and this guy's going to be great, and this guy's going to be great.
By the way, I don't want to rain on. I don't want to rain on the Rams parade because I kind of respect the process, but Ty Simpson ain't winning you a Super Bowl this year, boys.
No,
you're in win now. Find someone who can win now, or don't make the pick.
No, they're not in win now. That's a smart move if they like the player.
No, it is a smart move. I agree with the process of it, but
I mean, they're built to win now. And by the way, you see who got Max Clare? The fucking Los Angeles Rams.
Great.
Know how to use tight ends.
Yep.
Great pick.
They did have a good draft. They did. It's just everybody wants to make big deal.
Who had the worst draft? It might be is it the Niners, guys? They're getting ripped. I keep seeing them.
They're getting roasted today.
Dude, that dude Grant Cohn cracks me up, man. The way he asks those questions, he stands tall.
Yeah, I don't even know the guy, and he makes my life a living hell.
Yeah, no, he makes my life a living hell, and I don't even know.
Why is that? Why is that?
Because he reflects poorly on the outlet.
Oh, he's SI. Gotcha.
Yeah, and we're told, you guys need to be more like Grant Cohn. I said, no, I don't. I do not need to be like that guy.
If you're there are Niner fans who do appreciate his line.
I know Niner fans like him. I said, I don't think he's a big guy at all. I'm not going to go there.
I'm just saying there are some people who like who.
What did he do? I don't even know what he did.
No, he just asked. He asked pretty stone cold, right, to John Lynch. You seem to reach on every pick compared to the consensus board, and you've done it for quite a bit of time here.
And that's where the consensus board contract
talk came.
Yeah, that's how that all started.
I saw everybody yelling about it. Look, hey, I'm not a big fan of groupthink. The silliness of, I see both sides of that discussion. The silliness of rating 600 players when NFL draft boards are probably 125 or 150.
Right.
These guys, they don't acknowledge it. Brugler, Jeremiah, any of them. They're doing a holistic approach to 32 teams, which has nothing to fucking do with an individual team.
No.
So they seem to realize that. It's the other people who don't realize it.
I like what Brugler and Jeremiah do because it's a tool. It's not the Bible, but it's a tool. Can be the Bible, but
I mean, they took that Stribling dude at the top of round 2. What was that?
So, there's a lot of late. I mean, the Eagles brought him in. The Eagles they're a smart team.
Yeah, but were they ready to draft him at 34 or 35 overall?
You know what?
I
the
think
Jaguars
that's high, but
drafted
again,
a lot of nothing. I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
Yeah,
they
the
had
Jaguars
first round
like
pick because of Hunter.
And the irony is, these drafts that don't look good They
the
might
good ones.
end up. Well, they might end up. I mean, look. If everybody thinks a guy doesn't belong in the first round, but there is a groupthink aspect to it as well. It's like I got to see who there's obvious ones that Jeremiah, Zerline, Brugler. I don't know how many other people are involved, but
I mean, guys, I'm looking at the Niners draft.
I'll tell you what, I miss Dane. When Dane and I were together at CBS, I loved him. He was awesome to work with. He was just like, here it is, boys, go nuts.
Guys, I'm looking at this 49ers draft history.
It's not good. No.
It's horrible. I mean, their last really great pick was Brock Purdy at the last pick of the draft. I mean,
and they got lucky.
They took Jake Moody, Cam Latu in round 3. Half of these dudes were on the Eagles roster. Tyrion Davis-Price, Tariq Castro Fields. I mean,
don't the Eagles have Avery Thomas now?
They always sign 49ers third round picks that end up doing nothing.
Trey Sermon, Avery Thomas. You know who was a good pick for the 49ers? Zander, Lenore. He was a 5th round pick for them.
Yep. That was a good pick.
He was a good pick.
Yeah, that was a good pick.
I mean,
I'm
gonna get this one
that was
now.
2021 though, dude. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was 5 years ago.
That was the Trey Lance class. They also had Trey Sermon, another guy who spent some time in Philly.
I mean,
that class was highly touted.
Recently, they've done a pretty poor job, and I don't think John Lynch has been a good GM. I think he gets over.
Yeah, me too.
He's still getting lauded for training for Trent Williams 6 years ago.
I'm just saying.
Well, that was a good trade.
That's where I don't mind Grant Cohn. I understand he might make your guy's life tough, but that's where I understand. Like, there's 49er fans who are looking at these drafts and then look at the Eagles and they're like, dude, what the hell is John Lynch doing? And then he takes Deshaun Tribling at the top of round 2, and fans are like, what are we doing? And Grant Cohn's up there asking.
I always appreciate tough questions. Unfortunately, in the NFL, you don't get much of an opportunity.
Well, unfortunately, Howie doesn't make bad draft picks, so we can't ask him about that. But we pretty much ran him through the ringer with Jalen Reagor, so I don't know what the fuck people are talking about. We asked him the tough questions.
Oh yeah, you guys roasted him for that.
I mean, the guy hasn't made a bad draft pick.
And the other thing, John, that you saw,
who is Howie Roseman's worst draft pick since
he doesn't sign bad contracts either, even when it doesn't work.
Never signed bad.
That's Howie.
Bryce Huff was gone after a year. They moved on.
But to the point about all I'm saying is to the point, like everybody trips over themselves to talk about how smart the Eagles are, which generally I agree with, and the 49ers. All right. Because people don't recognize him. They picked Stribling 33. What I would have taken, they need a receiver. Would I have taken him? No. They took Romello Height at 70. All right, those are two guys I know the Eagles had significant interest in as third round picks, as premium picks. I mean, yeah. There's this pseudo intellectual class that thinks.
Zander, did you see this weekend was a come to Jesus weekend for Eagles fans?
No, in what way?
They finally realized A.J. Brown does not want to be here. All it took was C.J. Gardner-Johnson to go off on it.
Oh, C.J., shut up.
They don't listen to us, but they'll listen to him.
We're lying to them. We're lying to them. I
And now they hate CJ.
Lying to people.
It's
I don't hate
CJ. And they're like, AJ Brown has a lot of nerve not wanting to be here and putting out the performance he had. And like, boy, AJ.
No, but he's like Philly fans turned. What do you mean they turned on AJ?
Yeah, what do you mean they turned on him?
AJ wants to leave. I mean, what do you want Philly fans to do?
And guess what? It's fine. Some people like to leave jobs. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
I don't care.
I love the memory hole people.
Oh, yeah, I can't find any of them. Where'd they all go? We had them in our chat, John. They were all telling us AJ was going to be here, and me and you were cuckoo.
Yeah, I love the memory hole people.
Yeah.
They just go, oh, what a fit. Dontavian Wicks and Mekhi Lemon. What happened? Where's the – it's amazing.
So what do we got, guys? Like 40 days until AJ's gone? How quick after June 1
Can we do like a tracker to June 1st?
Yeah. How quick will it happen?
I think pretty quick. I think pretty
I
quick.
think it will.
Like over, under, later or earlier than June 3rd.
Under. I think it'll happen June 2nd.
My buddy, who's a very realistic Eagles fan, there aren't a lot of them. He goes, I like to know with my fellow contingent, what was the sign AJ didn't want to be here? Was it the fact that he didn't show up for OTAs or voluntary workout? The fact that they traded for Dontavian Wicks? The fact that they signed Hollywood Brown? The fact that he was miserable last year? I'm like, no, it was CJ Gardner-Johnson. He goes, oh, that did it.
They also just drafted.
I cover two.
Powers.
I tell people this. I cover two sports. I could have told you Nick Castellanos was not going to be a Philly in July of last year. He had one foot out the door then, and by October, both feet were out the door. I always had the feeling AJ had 1 foot out the door last year.
The Phillies stink, and Bryce Harper ought to stop drinking his own Kool-Aid.
He ain't their problem.
I'll tell you.
I'm not saying he's their problem, but he's the leader of the clubhouse, is he not? Well, your team has just lost 9 of 10 or whatever it is. Get your head out of your ass, dude.
I can't get past the Sixers to worry about the Phillies.
$300 million payroll, and they're playing the guy who literally they're playing a guy at cleanup. That, and by the way, I love the kid Felix Reyes, but the fact that he's their cleanup hitter 29 games in the season, 28 games of the season, and he's literally just got called up a week ago as your cleanup hitter. Like, that's bigger. Oh, by the way, that Aaron Nola contract, if there was any contract I could get rid of in sports, it'd be his. Amnesty it.
Yeah.
It's even, I think it's amusing when people bend over backwards in football to blame everything on coaching. As Zander knows, I think it's ludicrous.
It ain't Rob Thompson's fault. I know that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm saying.
And baseball is even more ludicrous.
That's why I said Zander. Like, your point is a lot more valid than anybody else's.
People literally say Rob needs to be fired. His best, they're not hitting. They don't.
Is Alec Bohm going to start hitting because Kevin Long got fired?
What the fans want? What do they want? Rob to walk up to the plate and fucking put the ball in a tee for him? Yeah. They don't hit.
Well, exactly. And look, I mean, it's part of it. There's something to it. Happened with Rob Thompson when they fired Joe Girardi. There is something to having a different voice.
Yeah, that's true.
And the players will tell you themselves. Rob Thompson ain't throwing the pitch. Rob Thompson ain't swinging the bat. They know it's on them. They know they're pressing. They've been pressing. They know.
Yeah, well,
it's on them. And this is, unfortunately, they ain't get Bo Bichette this all season. And
when did Bo Bichette turn into, I don't know, Roberto Alomar? When did that happen?
When he was the best of a bad crop of free agents.
I'll tell you what will be tough as we talk about other Philly sports right now. Now, I was high on the Flyers winning the series. I'm not a Flyers fan, for you guys that don't know that. I thought they had
a Devils fan, Zander.
You got to get fired up.
I was a Devils fan because of Marty Brodeur. But
I was going to say your
Jersey Flyers coming into the series. If they don't win tonight, look out.
They might be in trouble.
Well,
by the way, a good friend of mine got roasted yesterday for an awesome column he did, Anthony Sanfilippo, who covers the Flyers, about Michkov and how he doesn't know anything. By the way, Matvei Michkov is probably not going to be playing that much tonight. So, kind of warned you. People do not like the Messengers. They do not.
Yeah, fair enough.
People like
just like AJ Brown.
Jeff, who is your favorite draft pick for the Philadelphia Eagles? Or you think the one that you thought was the best value, or from your reporter perspective, not fan perspective, but your thoughts from the Eagles' best process in the draft here this weekend?
I mean, I cop out and say it was the trade, but you're asking
the trade for Grenard.
The trade for Grenard would be my.
I don't think that's a cop out. I think it's obvious.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's Grenard.
But give me a rookie. Give me the rookie.
If you give me I still like Lemon. I think they got great value for Lemon at 20. But you know what? It might be Bernard.
Oh, Wisniewski.
I like that pick too. Like, I don't know.
John's high on Wizzy. I called him a Timu.
Yeah, they need a safety, but okay. We really don't think Howie Roseman's rolling into this thing with these guys, right?
He's the only one with an opportunity. Cole Wisniewski, as of right now.
Jeff, I got ripped by my own father for calling Cole Wisniewski a Timu Reed Blankenship. My
Oh
dad
my
was.
God.
He was like, "Are you
He's
kidding
better
me?"
than Reed Blankenship because he got
That's a
drafted.
shit comment.
Yeah,
That's what he
he
told me.
got
That's a
drafted.
shit comment.
I
Cole
agree with the old
Wisniewski.
man.
He's a
Technically, he's better than
Costco.
Wisniewski because he
Yeah,
got
my
bit. I mean, better
my
than
pops likes Cole Wisniewski, man. I don't know what it
he
is, but he
should.
likes Wisniewski.
I like the kid from Washington State in the undrafted free agent pool.
Oh, you know what? Let me pull that up.
Taylor Lance.
I like Rocco Underwood.
Well, Rocco
why?
Underwood's making this
Because he's
team.
got an opportunity. No, well, not
Yeah.
necessarily. What happened to the Penn State kid? He's the
He
best
went to the
long
Raiders.
snapper. He
went to
did?
the Raiders. Yep.
Okay.
Raiders outbid the Eagles and a couple
All
other
right.
teams.
All right.
Tucker Large, Jeff. That's who you're thinking.
Tucker Lawrence. I don't know why I said Lance. I'm like, that's not right. I know.
I'm team Rocco Underwood.
Well, so am I. Hey, John, I ranked the undrafted free agents based on their chances of making the 53. Rocco Underwood was number one.
Of course, he's got to be.
I mean, they also did get two interesting undrafted free agents, Jeff, with Deontay Lawson, who started 3 years at Alabama. We're the green dot. I mean, that's pretty interesting.
I've heard like he's just a guy, but sometimes just a guy makes a team.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll make it or not. He is undrafted, so temper your expectations. And then Daquan Wright, the tight end at Ole Miss. This guy was interesting.
This guy runs like Derrick Henry.
Apparently. 39 receptions for 635 yards. 63 yards per catch as a tight end is crazy. Listen to this stat. Listen to this. He had a reception of at least 25 yards in each of his first 5 games of the 2025 season. I mean, this guy's a big play machine.
What I like about the undrafted free agent when people hype him up? If Zig Wright went to Bloomsburg, no one would give a rat's ass what he did in college.
Oh, that's true.
They look at the school, they're like, oh, he went there. He must be a player. Yeah, a lot of them are players that go to those schools.
By the way, the 5-year consensus draft board leader, Baltimore Ravens, followed by the Philadelphia Eagles.
There you go.
1, 2. Now people say, look, they're the 2 smartest teams. But number 3, the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, so here's my moment of the draft, and it does have something to do with the Eagles. How Howie Roseman played his old cohort, Andy Weil, like a fiddle.
Well, Omar Khan is in charge.
I know, but Andy Weidel is on that staff.
Yeah, but that's like saying Joe Douglas is responsible for what Howie Roseman does.
No, but like you can still know the tendency of your former colleagues.
Well, he probably does, and he probably warns Omar Khan, and Omar's the one fucking that up. So you got
that was hilarious. That was hilarious. They're calling 11. I'm like, dude, you're not even up yet.
Omar Khan got wrecked. He got wrecked. You hate to see it.
By the way, Andy was thinking about leaving Pittsburgh, which is strange because that's his hometown.
And probably because he's watching Omar Khan be a stiff in the room, unlike Howie.
Did you guys see the Joe Shane stuff? Like he might get fired now.
Well, that's just a matter of time. Harbaugh's running that show, man.
Oh yeah, that's why they go. Well, why would you fire him after draft? I'm like, that's actually when you fire a GM after the draft. That's when you fire scouts after the draft.
Speaking of Andy, yeah, that's what I see. He got an interview for the Falcons GM job, but they went with.
I thought he was going to take it.
They went with another former Eagles executive, Ian Cunningham, and now now the Vikings are going for a GM. He's rumored.
My former teammate is the president of football operations there.
Matt Ryan. Yeah,
I'm happy for him. Good dude.
They have these lead football executives, and Matt Ryan's technically the lead football executive in Atlanta, not Ian Cunningham.
I love how he got that job, but man, he had a nice, cushy job.
He's got 2 nice, cushy jobs. Don't they let him keep them? They didn't let him keep the job?
No, he's out.
All right.
I think the legend of Howie is continuing to grow, folks. I mean, he's lost a lot of
Now, if you want my 2 cents on it, I think CBS was cutting one of their big guns, and I think he made it easy for him by leaving.
There you go.
Because they've been cutting people left and right.
The Eagles expect to lose more executives now.
Well, they lose them all the time, and
they always lose them around this time.
None of them
they
are
lost Cunningham around this time a couple years ago.
Yeah,
none of them are as successful when they leave as when they're here. I mean, Howie's legend is growing.
Yeah, coaching, scouting it's not like coaching. It's on a different schedule. Scouting contracts go from draft to draft, not season to season. So the timing is different. So
This is when
you'll
you follow
see-
Neil Stratton.
Yeah, the you'll see movement. Now it's generally under GM. GMs are on the different schedule, season to season, and they'll get fired early. But the scouting staff, and the executives in the second level, it goes from draft to draft. Some guys' contracts will just expire and they'll go somewhere else. Obviously, new GMs will hire new scouts and new people. But the Eagles expect to lose some executives. Yeah, he jokes. He calls the Eagles an employment agency for the rest of the league. So.
Oh, he's not wrong on that.
No.
And what does Vic Fangio say? The defense, we're the farm system for
Yeah.
The farm system.
It's a well-regarded organization. Eagles fans.
You know what? That night Vic was at the Phillies game. I just wanted to ask him about the baseball team. Oh man, I just love getting
Vic.
around.
Vic is the nicest guy in the world. Everybody's afraid of Vic because he's so great.
Everybody is afraid of it. Everybody's like taking pictures of him. He's looking at him, and I'm like,
Vic is who I strive to be like, a grumpy ass dude that nobody wants to talk to, but is excellent at what they do. There you go.
I had players ask me, they're like, how is he? I'm like, you can go up and talk to him. He'll probably go up and talk to you before you even go up and talk to him.
No, he won't do that. But if you engage him, he will.
A couple of them did. They went up and they were talking to him for a bit.
He will engage you back. Yeah.
He was like a kid in a candy store when he was at the ballpark the other night.
He threw the first pitch, didn't he?
I'm a fellow old guy, so we have a good rapport.
There you go.
You're a curmudgeon too, John McMullen.
Perhaps.
Curmudgeons unite out here. That's what's going on.
I felt bad Saturday night. I'm just sending him texts telling him what I did. I'm like, those two are dead by this point. All the news conferences.
Oh yeah, man.
Jeff,
Those two are dead.
Question for you on Mekhi Lemon. How much of an impact will he have? Look, you're a stat guy. I can't ask this question to John because he'll shoot it down. He'll go curmudgeon on me and slash it down.
But,
so you don't care he played 74.2% of his snaps in the slot job?
Over under, Jeff Kerr. Over under 725 yards this year for Mekhi Lemon.
Because they spread the ball under.
Under 725?
Yeah. But I think he'll be the wide receiver too.
Say that again. What was the question?
Over under 725 yards for Mekhi Lemon. I just made that number up.
Under.
Yeah, I'm going
John laughed at the question and then proceeded to take the under.
I think Wicks. I think Wicks is going to have over 500 yards if we're going to play this
yeah,
game.
well, I'm assuming Wicks is going to be the wide receiver too early in the season. He'll.
But I think it will be Lemon at some point.
Yeah, I think it'll be Lemon at some point. And that's fine. That's
something I want to talk about too. I think they really did cover their track. I mean, you're not going to replace AJ Brown, but if you're going to cover your tracks, it's hard to do as good as they've done at trying to replenish it. And it's going to be different anyway.
So here, I'm obsessed with this big board thing. The consent.
You're going down the rabbit hole. I did that last night.
So here's the worst picks according to the consensus. Ty Simpson obviously went 19 spots higher than he should have. Caleb Banks, which I admittedly laughed at in the moment, won 26 spots higher. Keelan Rutledge, which I also laughed at, went 25 spots higher. So technically, by the big board, Caleb Banks was the worst pick in the first round. To Zander's point, Deshaun going to the second round. Deshaun Stribling, 58 spots higher. And that's where the Eagles had him as a third round pick. And then you had Nate Borkircher, who also the Eagles liked.
Yeah, we got to get Ian back on.
106 spots higher than he should have went. And that was Jacksonville. And then Marlon Klein, which I also chuckled at, Houston, 107 spots. So I would say Houston is worse than San Francisco because they drafted Rutledge in the first round who went 25 spots higher than he should have by the consensus. And then Marlon Klein in the second round, who won 107 spots higher.
I almost made a joke with this whole big board argument, and I was just going to put, God, I hate the draft.
Yeah. I don't blame you. And by the way, that's Nick Cesario.
Where'd you read that, John? I'd like to read that article. Is that an article?
I will. No, it's a chart, but I'll retweet it.
Yeah, retweet it out. Like
from this San Francisco data guy. He's pretty good. For like salary cap stuff and stuff like that. But anyway, Nick Cesario's, it doesn't surprise me because he's a New England guy, and New England famous for having the small draft boards. So they don't consider, that's the thing I think the weirdos don't get. And I'm not talking about the Jeremiahs, the people that do it, because they understand what they're doing. As I said, a holistic big board. Well, I think the people don't understand, like the vast majority of these players are not on these teams' boards because they ruled them out for whatever reason. Right. And nobody does it more than New England with Belichick, and Cesario comes from back. So it doesn't surprise me at all. They're not even considering certain players that you think are relevant.
Yeah, they're just like cross them off.
They've already crossed them off for whatever reason. Could be character based, could be medical based, could be not a fit. They're just not a Patriot way player. That bullshit. Could be all that stuff.
The Patriot ways had some questionable legality over the last couple of years.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it like nobody. I said you have 600 players. Nobody's going past 150 on any of these teams. I shouldn't say nobody. I can't
wait till 5 years from now when there's a redraft and Bernard's a decent defensive tackle, and they're like, "Oh, I took him in the round one." I'm like,
what'd you think of the Malachi Lawrence pick, guys? The Cowboys' second pick, and
I liked it. I like the player.
That felt like a reach to me, but I don't know.
They're all the same. They're all the back end of the first round.
That was the problem. The back of the first round was like, okay, don't pick there.
That's what I said about the Eagles. I'm like, I'm not taking an edge rusher if I'm the Eagles because I can get one
later and trade for
in the second round that's very similar. And they ended up getting a great edge rusher in the trade market. Consensus big board, Malachi Lawrence went 14 spots before he should have. So.
But that's what happens when you trade Micah Parsons. You need to replace him.
Yeah, well. Caleb,
well, I mean, but like, you know, what if they like him? Is that bad? Of again, TJ Parker went 35, and so he that's a value pick because he should have went 31. Like, what are the odds that Malachi Lawrence is better than TJ Parker? I would argue.
Where was Fernando Mendoza on the so-called big board?
One, because everybody knew he was going one.
See, then it's manipulated anyway.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
He wasn't the best player in this draft. Caleb,
no, he was not the best player in this draft.
Nobody thinks, but everybody wanted to be right more than.
Well, isn't that everybody?
His big board ranking was number one, and everybody knows he's not the best player. Everybody knows the best player was Love or Downs. Love ended up 4 on the big board. Downs ended up 6. But because of their positional value, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Well, so I just saw somebody, I asked you guys the over-under. I can't believe these numbers if these are true. Underdog has 649 for Lemon and 949 for Smitty. Well, who's getting yards?
949? No, I'm going over on Smitty.
What? Underdog is projecting the Eagles have another 2,400
advantage
passing offense.
Take advantage of that. I mean, they're probably hedging because they don't know. We don't know if AJ's going to be back. Take
Jeff, let
advantage
me
of
ask
that.
you: are you as concerned about this offense and the fit with Jalen Hurts as John and I are?
I don't want to get my hater.
Oh, that's good. I'd like for them to send a couple more of those. That was pretty good, John. That was pretty good comedy there.
I mean, I'll tell you what. There's pressure on him. I'll admit it.
Well, can he do it? You think he can do it? Some people think he can run this offense. He can run a West Coast offense.
I mean, he knows how to win. I guess
that's not what I asked, though. Yeah. I'm asking if he can.
But see, here's the thing. Again, this is why I can't stand fantasy football in the NFL anymore, because everything's about, can he do this? Can he do this? Can he do this? How about
that's what they're trying to do, no? Yeah, that's what they're trying to do.
But that's
winning
their
problem.
But again, they are trying to play fantasy football. They are.
No. They're trying to run a scheme that leads them to winning football games. The scheme they're asking him to run.
Didn't their old scheme win them football games?
Yes, and they're apparently not enough, Jeff, and they want to change it and win even more.
The receiver didn't like it. We know that.
That's why we're concerned about this shift. They won 11 freaking football games, and people talk like they won 2 ball games.
Exactly, yeah. They win double-digit games a year. They bow out in the first round. It's hard to win a championship if people are up.
I am coming more and more, and this is what I thought to begin with, and now I'm circling back. I thought more and more this is off-season talk. This is lip service, and they will go back to what they need to go back to win football games. I'm back at that where I started. And this draft has accentuated that to me. They're going to try to win fucking football games. But they'll try to get people excited, and they'll play the PR game, and they'll try to say, hey, Jeffrey, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then they're going to go say, hey, if it works, great. I'm not saying they're not going to try to do it in the spring and summer, because they most certainly will. They did it when Kellen Moore was here. They will do the same thing. And then when the games start, they will go try to win a football game.
Well, Sean Mannion, you got a lot on your plate, my guy. Let's figure it out.
They got a lot of tools. I know that. I like what they brought in.
And Sean Mannion's no dummy. And when they take the shrink wrap off him, he doesn't want to get shit on every week by trying to pound a square peg in a round hole. And we start asking him, hey, this isn't successful. Why aren't you doing this? He doesn't want to hear that.
If their offense is kind of like in flux again, and they're 13-4 and they lose in the conference championship game, we really gonna have this conference?
Yeah.
Terrible season. I know.
They're 13-4 and lose in the NFC championship.
There's a generation that thinks the 2015 Eagles is like the worst season ever, and I just laugh as someone who had to endure 98.
Well, if they want to win games with let's put John McMullen's thoughts aside for a second. We think they're going to default back to what they do, and I happen to agree with them, but we'll put them aside. If they want to run the West Coast offense, if this is what they want to do, will they be successful in running that offense with the personnel they have on the football team right now?
Are you going to be happy with Jalen Hurts turning the football over?
That's why I think it becomes a non-issue, because, I believe they will start that way. And he'll either prove he can do it or prove he can't do it. And then they will more accordingly, as they did under Kellen Moore. Here's the problem: is if you get to week 4 and it looks bad, and you're at the Kellen Moore stage where they scaled it back and they don't scale it back, then you're in trouble. But why would they keep?
September's the preseason anyway.
Why would they keep doing?
Right.
Like, why?
But then will it be will it be seen as a fail if they go back to the old offense?
They win.
I don't know is the old offense going to keep working, John? That's my question. Do you have to evolve because defenses are evolving?
That's why the most important, I would argue, the Jonathan Grenard addition is the second most important move the Philadelphia Eagles have made in the offseason.
That's a winning move.
Anyone guess what number 1 is?
Ooh, number one. Who the heck would be number 1?
It's not a who, but it is an addition. Medellin stem cells.
I gave you that the other day, didn't I?
Stem cell research.
Medellin stem cells.
I mean, look, the offensive line's healthy. We're having a much different conversation.
The season comes down to the injections that they received in
you wanna know what I'm worried about this team?
Colombia.
If Landon Dickerson or Tyler Steen get hurt, who the heck is playing guard?
Drew Kendall, baby.
Yeah, I had him on my 53, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It will not be Willie Lampkin or Holland Pierce. I know that.
Ed Kratz is going to be mad at you for that Willie Lampkin disrespect. Yeah, Willie.
Play.
Willie's going to be a big training camp star, or a big preseason star. He was with the Rams.
53 man all the time.
He was with the Rams because he's so unique and he's so athletic and but he's undersized and short. It's weird. It's weird watching him. But he's a good guy. But I agree, he's not going to make the team.
Well, we'll see how it all shakes out, guys. Jeff, we appreciate you doing it today, brother. We got to run. I got to get to some super chats before we end the show. Thanks for doing it today. Make sure you guys follow Jeff at Jeff Kerr PHL. Read all his work at Sports Illustrated, si.com/NFL/Eagles. Jeff, thank you, brother. We'll talk to you again next week.
Anytime.
Thank you, man. There's Jeff.
Thanks,
Kerr,
brother.
Right here on Birds 365. Good show today. Always good to chat with Jeff Kerr after a big draft weekend. Johnny Mac. Interesting stuff here going on in Philadelphia. And I can't wait to see how this all shakes out, Johnny Mac. We got a couple super chats we will get to, but before I do that, any thoughts from you coming out of the Jeff Kerr segment today that are top of mind for John McMullen?
Let's see. I'm trying to think who he hyped up too much. He didn't really hype up anybody too much. Maybe a little too much Micah Morris. That's it. That's it. I don't think he's by any stretch a guaranteed lock to make the football team. They'll want to keep him around. They want to keep all their draft picks around, but no, I don't think he's a lock at all.
Yeah. Best part of the show today was the cuckoo bird you sent me via email. Cuckoo bird. It was a good.
That was deep, man. That was deep, layered
religion. Oh man, it was wild.
I like when people accuse me of being a racist, and yet they say I'm manipulating AJ Brown. I think he's
that's exactly what they said. They said you were manipulating AJ Brown, but that was a funny email there, John. All right, we got a couple super chats. Let's read them. Mauricio says, "Is Zach Ertz off the table?"
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yes. Come on.
He just drafted Eli Stowers. Niall says, "What's up, Niall? Zander, how you feeling about the draft?" Niall, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I think it was a pretty good draft. I'll expand on that on Zander time. Brian Fleming says, "Thoughts on New England drafting Lomu for the AJ trade?"
No, I do not believe it was done with that intent in mind. I think the Eagles, again, I understand how the NFL works. Like you're basically either at the end of this week, the Eagles will have their rookie mini camp. Everybody else will have their rookie mini camp either this week or next week. Then you're in the OTAs in May. Then you have mandatory mini camps in early June. The NFL is not set up like other sports. In other words, you're not going to teach Caleb Lomu install in New England and then trade him on June. It doesn't work that way. It'll be a future pick. And by using a future pick, it's more likely how he gets a first round pick, because teams don't value future picks as much as they do immediate picks, because again, even there's different stages of guys who have job security. John Snyder's got some pretty good job security. Les Snead, Howie at the top. Most GMs don't have that kind of job security. So they're more willing to give up future picks with the thought that I might not be using them anyway. And New England is probably going to be a worse team because they kind of overachieved last year. So the pick will be better, most likely.
All right, here is Brian. Thank you, bro. I think that's kind of BS too, but I did see it. Brian said it's a rumor on Twitter. I did see it. I mean, a bunch of
rumors on Twitter.
Yeah, that's normally not a good place to pull from. Vitalities, what's up, dude? He says, shout out to Eagles legend Greg Ward for throwing touchdowns in the UFL. Is that right?
Greg's still going, man. Unbelievable.
Dude,
he's not even that old.
No, he's not. 30. He's 30 years old.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, Greg was a great college quarterback. People forget. Great.
Jody Mack loved Greg Ward. Didn't he?
He loved him.
Oh, he loved him. Yeah.
He would get insulted when I would say, "Yeah, look, they want to upgrade from Greg Ward."
Yeah. Here is Kimberly. What's up, Kimberly? Love the picks, but who's throwing the ball to them? Uh-oh.
Yeah, there we go. You're going to get some hate now. Yeah, I mean, well, and then the second part is that like people are talking themselves into the Eagles got better at wide receiver. The Eagles aren't getting better at wide receiver by losing A.J. Brown. I've said that from the start. It's not happening. But when you lose a player like that, you got to go about things a different way. And I think they've done a good job. Again, Howie pivoting, taking more of a village approach, taking more of an aggregate approach to replace A.J. Brown with multiple bodies. And on paper, it looks half decent. But, the idea of spreading the football around in a West Coast offense is not what we've seen from Jalen Hurts. Does that mean he can't do it? No. Would I bet on him being able to do it after playing a certain style for 6 seasons? No. Doesn't mean he can't do it. Doesn't mean I'm racist for suggesting he probably won't be able to do it, but nonetheless.
That's a cop-out. Here's Pelly Cocker. This guy's name cracks me up. Pelly Cocker 7947. He says, who told Mekhi to behave and talk like that on draft day? I just saw a clip of him talking during college. It's night and day. Am I missing something?
No idea. Didn't see it. Was down at NovaCare. He was, his not Jefferson Health. Sorry. He was kind of not great on the conference call, but the day after when they brought him in, he was good. So I don't know what was going on, but I didn't even see the draft TV stuff. So I don't even know what he was.
Yeah, I see a lot of people making a big deal about that. I don't really care what Mekhi Lemon sounds like, to be frank with you guys. I just want him to be a productive football player. He can sound like however he wants, honestly. So it is what it is. But Pelly Cocker, thank you, brother. I don't think you're missing anything. I'm not sure. John, all right. We're at the end of our show today. Ian Cummings just hit me back. He's going to try and make time for us tomorrow morning. So I will let you know.
Nice.
Text on that. We'll get Ian Cummings to break down the Eagles draft class, folks. John, your final thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles. 8 new players, 1 new traded player, Jonathan Grenard, and also 8 undrafted free agents. That roster's getting deeper, my friend. Your final thoughts here on a Monday morning.
And there'll be a bunch of guys in this week on tryouts, rookie tryouts for rookie camp. So you get all that news to you. What's that?
When's that start?
It's going to be this weekend. So it's going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Not official yet, but that's what they're operating on. We only get to go in for 1 day for 15 minutes. So it's like a regular season practice, but we'll get to see the rookie tryout players and all that kind of stuff. So they'll be at 90 soon in a full off-season roster. Yeah, I thought it was productive, and I think the most interesting part is, the Eagles didn't draft per scheme. They just drafted how they normally draft, and I think that's a positive thing.
Yep, good stuff. All right, John, one more quick question here. Brandon Howard, a great supporter of ours for a long time. He wants me to ask you, John Clark is reporting that the Howie is seeking a veteran safety by trade or sign. His thoughts on who it would be for you is what he's looking for.
Well, again, I gotta do more research on guys who are on the final year of his rookie deal. I don't think it's a Justin Simmons type or an older type that's just hanging on. I think it's more of a CJ Gardner Johnson type, but obviously he's been honest that we're going to add multiple bodies at safety. They did add Wisniewski. Probably not comfortable with that. As I said, I think he's got an opportunity right now, but yeah, it would not shock me if he's looking to bring in a safety. I know Grant Delpit's been a guy that people potentially say is on the market. Yeah, it would not shock me if they bring in a more accomplished safety.
Here comes Cole Wisniewski in the round 7 draft.
Cole might beat them all out. Cole Wisniewski.
Maybe he will. All right, John, great show today, man. We appreciate it as always. I've said it to you and I'll say it again. Amazing draft coverage per usual. Phenomenal stuff. I think the viewers across the channel enjoyed it all. So we appreciate your reports, Johnny Mac, as always, and your analysis. We will catch up with you tomorrow on a Tuesday edition, my friend.
All right, sounds good. Thanks all.
All right, thanks, J-Mac. There's Johnny Mac, John McMullen joining me right here on Birds 365. Great show today. Good stuff from Jeff Kerr. Good stuff from Johnny Mac. Great content all throughout the day today. I want to thank all of you guys. We had a great viewership all throughout the draft weekend. We had great viewership here today on Birds 365. It's a fun time of the – this is probably the most fun time of the offseason, when you go into the draft. You get the players, and then you come out of the draft and you kind of see, the players. You talk about the players, and they go to rookie minicamp and things of that nature. So it's a good time of the offseason. I think the Birds did pretty good all in all in terms of their overall haul. Now, you got to see, one thing I don't like is I don't like going to one way or another on the draft. In other words, I don't love praising every draft pick like they're the draft champions. We don't fucking know who the draft champion is right now. We have no idea who the draft champion is right now. And then on the other side, we drafted a bunch of stiffs. Well, how do you don't know that there are a bunch of stiffs? I mean, let's find out. So, it's a wait and see thing for the draft, but it is always good to get fresh names, new names here into Philly. And, if you're a fan of the team, obviously you love seeing new guys come to town. So I think that was a big thing. I like the Mekhi Lemon pick a lot. He grew on me quick. I mean, I was watching some of his tape. He really reminds me of these newer age receivers. And I'm not comparing him to them and saying he's going to become them. I'm just saying he reminds me of some of the receivers right now that have really had a bigger role in the NFL recently. Guys like JSN, guys like Puka, guys like, Amon-Ra St. Brown, these shiftier, smaller guys, but they can line up anywhere. They can play from the slot. They can play on the outside. They're good across the middle. They're great in space. They're great possession catch guys. They're great against zone coverage, stuff like that. So that's what Mekhi Lemon reminded me of. So I do like that pick, but the rest of them we'll wait and see. So I think all in all, it was a pretty good weekend for the Birds. John says his boy Aller went to the Steelers. Yeah, I don't know why you're so high on Aller. He stunk at Penn State. Zander, you did glaze the F out of the Cowboys. I glazed one pick, Caleb Downs. It was the best pick of the draft. Outside of that, I mean, Pump, do you think Caleb Downs was a good pick? Now, you're right. Wait and see. Caleb Downs, the knee could be a problem, and he could not be that good. What? I didn't say that. I said he grew on me. Pump. Stop being a diddler, you weirdo. Diddler ass goofies. Crowley says, are you excited about the undrafted free agent linebacker Lawson, the Alabama kid? Yeah, he's a good player. I mean, he started for 3 years at Alabama. So it's one of those dudes. It's like, it makes you excited, but doesn't it bring up a red flag too? It's like, how does Lawson, who starts 3 years at Alabama, not get drafted? Like, you're telling me Uar Bernard, and I'm excited about him, but Uar Bernard, a guy who's never taken a snap of football, in Nigeria, gets drafted, but a guy who started 3 years as a linebacker at Alabama who wore the green dot can't even get a 7th round pick. Doesn't really make sense to me. So, your radar goes off a little bit just from like, what the heck, How did he not get drafted? And then Daquan Wright, I think his name is, also the undrafted tight end at Ole Miss. I think he's pretty exciting. I mean, that dude's got a lot of big catches. Yeah, Daquan Wright, tight end at Ole Miss. So thought that was interesting. Zander, do you want Hurts to execute the offense, win a Super Bowl, and get an extension, right? Absolutely, I want that. I just don't know if that's how it's going to happen. I'm not Nostradamus. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, if that happens, then that means the Eagles are successful. Fredo, I want the Eagles to be a successful football team. That's all I want. I don't care if it's by Jalen Hurts or by anybody else. I am not loyal to any of the players. I want the Eagles to be successful. They've been very successful with Jalen Hurts. I am not in the camp of we got to get Jalen Hurts out of here. I understand where some people have concerns about him running a different offense, but absolutely, I want Jalen Hurts to be very successful. Jalen Hurts being successful means the Eagles are successful. I mean, similar to how I feel some people are more loyal to players than they are to team. If you don't want Jalen to be successful when he's the quarterback of your football team, then you're not really, what's going on? Are you rooting for the team, or are you rooting for whatever outcomes you've determined that you want to happen in your head? Of course, we want Jalen to be successful. Here's Prince. I love Mekhi Lemon's reaction to Micah Parsons trying to diss the Eagles. The team, yeah, Prince, that was stupid of Micah. Like, dude, shut up. There's a time and a place. I mean, that just didn't come off as the right thing to do, So, here's Bed Story. Xander, lose the wispy cat, whisper beard. Whatever, bro. You can worry about your fucking self. Do you want AJ out of here, Z? Robert, I don't know. I think AJ's going to be out of here. So, Rasputin says there's a difference between rooting for failure and anticipating. Well, I agree 100%. It's fine if you anticipate it. Rasputin, there are people out there who are rooting for failure, though. I've seen them with my own two eyes. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying there are people out there. There are people out there. Can't hit, can't pitch, defense is shit. I assume you're talking about the shitty-ass Philadelphia Phillies. What a joke. And then incoming all the fans who will blame Rob Thompson. They'll blame Rob Thompson. They got like $200 million of players who can't hit. I mean, what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? Yeah, that was a weird comment. And by the way, Prince, I'm with you, dude. It's like Mekhi Lemon just sat there like straight-faced, like, okay. That was a great reaction. Mekhi Lemon's more mature than Micah Parsons is, for sure. Here's Niall. Niall, thanks for the super chat earlier. He says, my issue with Hurts is he thinks he shouldn't have to run as much. Who the F do you think you are? Yeah, he's got to run, dude. I mean, my problem with that, Niall, is like you come into the league and you do what he did for his team, where they go to the Super Bowl. I mean, he was a damn near MVP player that year, and he did that by way of running and passing. Like, he did both that year very well. And then you just take away part of that, like I can't come on the show and be mute, I mean, I wouldn't have a show. It's like, that does bother me, but look, he wants to extend his career. I mean, you would think it does make common sense in terms of he's making $50+ million and he wants to play till he's 35, not till he's 28, 29. If you run and then you make you butter your bread on that entirely, then you're putting your eggs in the basket of something that's not going to last as long. Now, you can make an argument, who gives a shit? That's your skill set, and that's what got you paid. But I get it. It's one of those things that's a little bit of a tough thing to thread the needle on. But I'm with you now. I mean, he's got to run. Curtis says, my optimism comes from the defense. It has a big chance of being closer to 24 than 25, and 25 wasn't bad. I agree. Rasputin says, I was a pom-pom waving Jalenite until I saw him in 24. Not being able to run Kellen's offense effectively crushed my opinion of the guy. That's fair. That's fair. Look, Jalen's done a lot for people to be big fans of him. I'm not bothered at all by people who are big fans of Jalen Hurts. Doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I think it's funny to some extent because, we joke about it, but I have no problem with someone who's a big fan. I mean, Jalen Hurts has given – you guys got to think about it. Jalen Hurts has given fans a lot of reason to like him, man. I mean, this team has won a lot with him at the helm. Now, some people will say, yeah, it's not all Jalen, because it's not. It's a team game. But dude's given this. I mean, this team has been really successful with him at quarterback. And quarterbacks mean a lot to football teams. So I get it. I completely get it. I'm not, I'm more in the middle on it. Like, I love Jalen. I appreciate what he's done, but I also understand that if the defenses are catching up to what we're doing and we can't play offense anymore and we need a change, and he's unable to do that, well, then you're going to have to obviously start to look at something that to evolve. That's football. Happens quick, guys. Carson Wentz came here and was a savior and was gone a couple years later. I'm not saying Jalen has the same trajectory. I'm just saying it happens quick in this league. Zander, who was that tight end they were hyping up last game? Harrison Bryant. Hey, Pump, you were hyping up Sidney Brown. What were you calling him? Sid Vicious? Dude's a stiff. Here's Bob. Zander, if he doesn't want to run, he needs to be greatly improve the other skill set, other skills that will let him stay in the pocket. Wanting to stay in the pocket and being skilled enough to do it are different. That is so true, Bob. Another great comment by you. I agree completely. Kevin says, would you rather have Dak get to watch the Super Bowl from the couch? See, I have a different opinion on this. All right. Many of you think because Dak has never made a Super Bowl in Dallas means that he would never make a Super Bowl anywhere else. I'm not really of that belief. There is an analysis of individual performance and then an analysis of team performance. Dallas, the team, has not gone the distance. Dak has not played his role to the caliber he needs to get that team to the distance. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that you don't think Dak Prescott would be good with the Eagles playmakers, I'm sorry, but I would have to disagree with you. I think Dak Prescott would have a boatload of success with the Philadelphia Eagles. Does that mean he'd win the Super Bowl? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. We've never seen it. So you're projecting one way or another. We don't know. Dak has been a pretty fucking good player, though. I mean, I don't understand Eagle fans who talk like Dak Prescott's the worst. The dude is pretty damn good, guys. Like, Trag says Dak does not show up in the playoffs. All right, that's fair. But, Trag, has Jerry Jones given Dak the same thing that Howie Roseman's been able to give Jalen Hurts? No, it's okay to admit. It's all right. We got a better GM. That's a part of the team element of going the distance and winning it all. Here's Pump. I ripped him for his Sid Vicious, and now he's on the attack. Matter of fact, Zander, your football takes have been horrendous. I love it, Pump. Bring it on, Pump. Zander, can Wright beat out Calcaterra? I think I can beat out Calcaterra. No, I'm just kidding. Here's E. Pellycocker. What's up, dude? Thanks for the big super. Just to keep the conversation thread going, what's going on with Jalen running? When he runs effectively, we're a top 10 passing team. Staff is asking him not to run. Shed some light. Give up success for longevity. I think it's that. I think it's the latter there. I think it's the latter. I don't think the staff is asking him to not. I mean, why would the staff ask him to not run? That to me feels like, like Pellycocker, if that's what it's about, the longevity thing, isn't there more of a chance that comes from his agent and like his team, because they're like, think about it, his agent's like, hey, Jalen, if we get to our next contract, you're going to make $60 million a year across 5 years. You're going to get $300 million. You're going to get another $200 million of guaranteed money. That's basically doubling our lifetime earnings. This is massive money on the table. Like, that to me makes more sense from his team's perspective than it would from the Eagles. Like, what do the Eagles care about that? The Eagles want to win games, don't they? I can't be worried about Jalen's next contract. If he earns it, we're going to give him it. But that's not my number one priority. Jalen's agent and his team, that's their number one priority. By the way, they all get paid if he gets paid. So I think it's more Jalen's team. But, I mean, look, somebody said it best. Bob Brown just said it. If you're not going to run, then that means you're going to have the other skill sets that you bring to the table are going to have to make up for that loss of yardage and the loss of production that we were getting with the run, because it was big. I mean, again, I've asked you guys to do homework before, and I don't like to ask homework because I damn near failed every class I was ever in because I was not a good student. But Go and load up YouTube after this show ends and just type in 2022 Jalen Hurts highlights. I mean, guys, it was a different player. I mean, it almost is surprising to watch at this point. You're like, holy shit, he torched the league. Torched the league. Torched the league. So I get it. I get it. They're highlights, but original. Come on, dude. You remember 22? Jalen Hurts was a different type of player in 22. If you can't admit that, I mean, come on. You're not even living in reality. You're not even living in reality if you can't admit that. So here's Prince. Wait a minute. I hate that narrative. Zander can't run this offense, can't run his offense. Those 4 games were without his weapons. What happens in the Atlanta game? That's true. He was missing A.J. Brown for 3 or 4 of those. You know, Prince, I think it more comes down to 23 too, where he had a lot of turnovers, you know. But look, Prince, it's a good point, you know. Yeah, the first 4 and 24. I mean, I think he was missing A.J. for 3 of them. And then was he missing Devontae too? Eagles 2024 season. Let's pull it up. I'll pull it up together. All right, 2024. Stand by. I'll pull it up so we can see it together. All right, here's the 2024 season. So that's the postseason. We're not looking at that. By the way, what a fucking run to the Super Bowl. Holy shit. Belt to ass all day long. All day long. Hurts 131, Hurts 128 in the wild card and divisional round. That's why people criticize Hurts, because he didn't do that much. 131, 128. So there's your problem, folks, for the Hurts defenders out there. Don't get mad at me. You can defend them however you want. All right, week 1. Green Bay, Hurts had 278. Yeah, I mean, he had the 3 turnovers, right? So Barkley had 109. See, look at Barkley's numbers. Like, they were still great in the first 4 games. But let's look at the box score here. There's Sal Pal. Hurts was 20-34, 278, 2 tutties, 2 picks. AJ did play. He had 119. Devontae did play. He had 84. Goddard played. Everybody played. So that was week 1. Obviously was a good week. And Hurts did have 2 interceptions, and I believe he had a fumble. He had a loss, 2 fumbles, 1 lost fumble. So he had 4 turnover-worthy plays in that game. All right, then we'll go to Green Bay. Week 2 was Atlanta. This is when they lost on the Barkley drop. All right. Hurts 23-30, 183, 1 tutty, 1 interception. He had 85 rushing yards. 13 for 85. I haven't seen him do that in a long time. And 1 touchdown on the ground. And then did he have any fumbles? No fumbles for Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown did not play. So Goddard or Smitty was your leading receiver, 7 for 76. Goddard and then Covey. I mean, Covey had 6 receptions. Normally not a good thing if Britton Covey's getting 6 receptions. Let's go to week 3. New Orleans, they won 15-12. Hurts had 311 in the air. Barkley had 147. So a lot of offense for only 15 points. Hurts was 29-38 for 311, 0 touchdowns and 1 pick. He had 4 sacks, and he had 8 carries for 25 yards. Saquon Barkley went off, obviously, 17 for 147 and 2 touchdowns. And then again, no A.J. Brown. So no A.J. Brown here. Goddard and Goddard had 170. Holy shnikes. 11 targets, 10 catches for 170. Oh, man, that's a good outing for Dallas Goedert. And then Devontae Smith, 7 for 79. So no A.J. Brown once again. And then week 4, Tampa, where they got destroyed by the Bucs, 33-16. Hurts had 158. Barkley had 84. They moved to 2-2 on the year, and this is when they made the switch. So Hurts was 18-30, 158, 1 tutty, 0 interceptions. Saquon 10 for 84. Hurts 8 for 20 and a touchdown. And then also, so week 4, he had no AJ and no Smitty. I thought I remembered that. No AJ and no Smitty. No AJ and no Smitty in week 4. Yeah, it's not ideal right there. So that's a fair point. It's a fair point, Prince. That's a look at those first four, though. It's a fair point. Kimberly says, would rather a short shelf running than bad passer. I agree, Kimberly. I agree. Rather get the most out of the player, you know? Oh, yeah, Lane was out too. Obviously, the offensive linemen aren't as easy to tell. But, yeah, that's right. Lane was out too. Lane was out too, so. So, all right, guys, good show today. Appreciate all you guys being here. I thought Jeff Kerr was good today. I thought Johnny Mack was great per usual. All right, good breakdowns as always, and appreciate all you guys doing it. Hit that like button. I see some of you still crying. Original Philly, cheer up, big guy. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. I don't know why people are weird about this whole sports thing. You guys should read this email John sent me. It's literally hilarious. It's like 8 paragraphs long. This thing is longer than the essays I had to write in college. Literally 1 paragraph, 2 paragraph, 3 paragraph, 4 paragraph, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 paragraphs. 9 paragraph hate mail for Johnny Mack. I'm like, bro, John is such an unbiased reporter. It's so funny. It's so funny. Y'all are biased. Original, how are we biased? Give me one good reason that we're biased. Was the offense performing good enough to you last year? Hold everybody in the same standard. I think we fucking do. I think you're the person who doesn't have the same standards. You're in your delusions. You want to believe what you want to believe about Jalen Hurts. That's okay, but admit it. You're the one who's biased, not us. You want to hear what you believe. You're the one who's biased, not us. They were 25th in offense last year. They're not good enough, bro. The quarterback's a part of that. Yes, he is. As much as you don't want to believe that, bro. He is, I promise. I never once said Dak didn't have help. I said Dak is not the number one problem in Dallas. Listen, use your ears instead of believing your own delusions. All right, love all you guys, including you, Original Philly. You numb nuts. Hit that like button. See you next time, everybody.
EAGLES. Eagles.